NBC Sports, home of the NASCAR race for the championship.
NBC Sports welcomes you to Homestead-Miami Speedway in South Florida for the Ford 300, the season-ending race for the NASCAR Busch Series. Greg Biffle locked up the championship at Phoenix last Saturday, so it's a nothing-to-lose day. 43 drivers chasing one checkered flag. Weather threatens the area around the speedway, so the cars are already on the track getting ready to start. While you look at the starting lineup, remember last Saturday at Phoenix, Wally was racing and Michael Waltrip was in the booth? Well, Michael's racing today, Wally.
All right.
Why don't you hassle him a little bit?
Those three first. Michael Waltrip, Wally Dallenbach, do you have a copy?
Yeah, Wally, how's it going?
Okay, buddy, pretty good. Now, you qualified a whole lot better than I did, but you still have some cars to pass. How's your car?
Well, we were pleased with the Aaron's Dream Machine and Happy Hour. It ran really well. Bobby and the guys didn't change a thing, so our times look to be really good. Should be a good day for us. This is a great car. It's a car we ran second twice with and wrecked on the last lap. So it's really always been in contention. That's pretty cool.
Okay, just a word of advice. Remember, you've got a lot of cameras on you there, buddy, so be careful what you do inside that car.
10-4, that's good advice, because I pick my nose a lot.
That's why I said it. Good luck.
Michael Waltrip starting 14th today in pursuit of the NASCAR Busch Series victory. Alan Bestwick with Benny Parsons and Wally Dallenbach getting set to go here at Homestead. Huge field of cars tried to qualify for this race. You see all those who are unable to be in the field for today's race, including some pretty big names like Jeffrey Bodine.
Mike Wallace failed to qualify.
And now the field getting the one to go signal. They'll go racing next time by. Bring in our pit reporters and get some stories from down there before the green flag. Matt Yoakum, you're first.
Busch Series champion Greg Biffle can now do something he hasn't been able to do for 2 years. Race without having to worry about points. He's trying to close out his official Busch Series career with a victory here in Homestead. He hasn't won since IRP back in August. In fact, the last 6 races, he's finished everywhere from 2nd to 6th. He starts 8th today. To Marty Snyder.
Well, Matt, for the fifth in this series than anybody. He said his car was not as good as he had hoped yesterday, but in the 7 previous Busch races here at Homestead, this race has never been won from the front row. He said the guy he's most worried about today is Scott Wimmer. Dave Burns.
Marty, the first time the Busch Series raced here, it was Joe Nemechek who was on the pole, and that day he finished 7th. Since then, he's won this race 3 times, but always on odd years, like last year, 2-1, never on an even year. Well, to help that, they picked the very same pit stall here today that they've had for all 3 of those wins. Joe starts 5th.
The big story of the weekend in NASCAR racing, the appeal filed by Roush Racing against their penalty that they received after the Rockingham race a couple of weeks ago. Bill Weber is following that story for us. We understand there's going to be a decision announced momentarily, and we'll bring that to you as quickly as we can. First, they're coming to the green flag. 200 laps, 300 miles today, and the championship's locked up. Nothing to lose. Go for the win.
Well, there's a lot to lose for some guys out there that don't have a job for next year, because they're auditioning right now, trying to find something for 2003.
Cloudy, overcast day. Rain is threatening. Will the event go its full distance? We'll find out. It's the final race of the NASCAR Busch Series season under green.
Wow, someone in back did not get a very good start at all.
There's going to be a lot of slipping and sliding these first couple laps. This place is slippery to begin with, but on the start, it's very, very slick. Was that Nemechek that looked like got a little bit sideways and somebody was right on his bumper?
That was him. Nemechek, the red car, second red car we saw go through the shot.
Jeff Green leads. Bobby Hamilton Jr. has slipped into 2nd. Brian Vickers back to 3rd. Then Casey Mears and Joe Nemechek. All right, they have released the decision of Roush Racing's appeal on their post-Rockingham fine. Bill Weber, bring us the story.
Alan, the commission heard the appeal this morning, first from Roush Racing and then NASCAR's side. Just moments ago, it was announced that the appeal was denied by the National Stock Car Racing Commission. It said the spring rule as written is clear. The spring from the number 6 car did not meet the requirements of the rule, that NASCAR acted fairly and consistently in issuing the penalties. It is therefore the unanimous decision of the commission to uphold the penalty assessed by NASCAR. The appellants do have the right to appeal this decision to the National Stock Car Racing Commissioner. So the process is not totally over at this point. I had a brief talk with Jack Roush this morning after he presented his side. He was not very optimistic. But again, the appeal by Roush Racing to recapture 25 driver points and 25 owner points in addition to a $5,000 fine has been denied. Back upstairs into the race.
All right, Bill, thanks. New leader Bobby Hamilton Jr. in that one final stage of appeal. Charles Strang is the name of the commissioner of NASCAR, and he could be appealed to for one final step if they so choose.
I don't think that they'll do that. It was unanimous today, not a split decision. I think we've heard the last of that.
So it'll be 89 points between Tony Stewart and Mark Martin going into tomorrow's race, pending any further appeal.
And Tony Stewart just wiped his brow.
Oh, yeah, because all of a sudden he's got 25 more points. Now, we haven't heard the last of it. 3 years from now, when something pops up, we'll talk about that. But as far as this year's is concerned.
All right, let's get into this race. The leader is Bobby Hamilton Jr. Took the lead from Jeff Green that last lap by you saw. Jeff is back to second, Brian Vickers third, and there's a change for fourth place between a couple of teammates.
Hank Parker Jr., 36 car, goes by Casey Mears.
And quickly runs up on Brian Vickers. Mears is now fifth. Behind him, Stacy Compton, Jason Keller, Joe Nemechek has slipped back to eighth. Then Johnny Sauter and Casey Kane rounding out the top 10. Greg Biffle runs 12th now. And Parker Jr., one of those guys, BP, you talked about guys needing a job for next year. Hank Parker Jr. just found out this week that his sponsor's not coming back next year and he needs a ride.
Well, there you go. So right now he's looking pretty good. He's auditioning well.
While you've been in that situation, it's not comfortable.
And it amazes me how these guys wait so long to tell these guys that they don't have jobs or they don't have sponsors, or, you know, I mean, it is tough to find something this late in the game because a lot of people's plans are already in place by now. And so he's got a tough road ahead of him.
You were in a situation that, to the extreme, you found out you didn't have a ride when the season was opening.
Yeah, the week before Daytona. We're not going racing. Okay.
Yeah. So Parker Jr. up to third position now, seeking his third NASCAR Busch Series victory. Remember, he got a win at Pikes Peak earlier this summer in July that you saw here on NBC. What was that wave for?
Probably waving to the pit crew.
Had his hand up in the car for something. Hank chasing down Jeff Green, trying to pick up second spot.
You know, Hank Parker Jr. almost won this race the first time the NASCAR Busch Series cars came here.
1995.
Yeah.
Look at Hank is on the apron right there, which will help the car turn a little bit.
Now we slip back to the fifth place race. Stacy Compton, Jason Keller. Check that, that'll be sixth place there. 59 and 57 respectively.
Boy, Stacy Compton had a great run in Phoenix last week. Had to start at the rear because he had an unapproved engine change. Fought his way back all the way up to the front. And this week he starts in front. Hopefully he can stay there.
Team that really struggled in the middle part of the season and now seems to be coming on strong and gaining some momentum as they close out 2002.
He was way down there.
'57 car Jason Keller going to lock up second in the NASCAR Busch Series Championship. Gave it a valiant run, trying to take the title from Greg Biffle, but was closed out last weekend at Phoenix. He'd like to wrap up his most successful season in Busch Series racing so far with a victory in his Ford. It's the Ford 300 at Homestead-Miami Speedway, just underway on NBC.
Hi, I'm Steve Lyons, president of Ford Division, and welcome to today's Ford 300 NASCAR Busch Series race, part of the Ford Championship weekend. More than 100 years ago, Henry Ford drove this race car to an unlikely victory that gained him the financial backing to start Ford Motor Company and start the legacy of Ford racing. New Busch champion Greg Biffle and his fellow competitors have battled all year long in one of the most exciting seasons in history. Today, they have 300 miles left to try and make their mark on the 2002 season. We at Ford are proud to bring you all the action. Enjoy the race.
NBC's coverage of the Ford 300 is brought to you by Ford. With 150 million vehicles sold, Ford is America's #1 choice. By Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Burn fat, crush cravings, and supercharge your energy. And by Napa Auto Parts. We keep America running.
Hank Parker Jr. obviously likes that car. I wonder if he'll be saying that in a few seconds, or a few laps.
That's what it feels like when you have a good race car, huh?
Yep, sure does.
That's Jeff Green, the pole sitter, the 21 car that he's trying to run down in second spot.
He's running them down.
Hank Parker Jr. has 2 top 10 finishes in 4 Busch Series tries here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Boy, look at that car roll through the center, Benny.
All right, what do we got up at NBCSports.com? I'm sure Wally's got a race preview for tomorrow. BP's got some mailbag issues.
Yes.
Think so?
Oh, yeah.
We send you their questions?
Yes, they did.
You read my race? You've never even been to
Absolutely
my
not.
race preview.
No, I don't click on your. I check out
what you're missing.
I check out what Benny's got to say. NBCSports.com.
It's okay. I've never watched the show either, so.
Well, there you go. Second place here, Hank Parker Jr. trying to audition for a ride for 2003, working Jeff Green's bumper.
I'll tell you what, when he gets by this 21 car to take the second spot, he'll really let out a scream.
I think he's going to let him go by. Yep, Jeff Green gave him the spot. Man, that car just rolls through the center like you want a car to roll here at Homestead. It just stays right on the bottom. He's able to pick up the gas early and drive away from the 21 car, getting up off the corner.
Parker Jr., 28-year-old from Denver, North Carolina. That's just to the north and west of Charlotte. Of course, the son of the legendary professional fisherman. Made his Winston Cup debut a couple of weeks ago at Rockingham. Said he learned so much about Winston Cup racing just in that one ride. Marty?
Yeah, you talk about this sport and how things have been going so great for Hank, and then they get the letter Tuesday. He's a perfect example of how this sport can just bring you right up, and BP, you know this, it can kick you right back down to the ground as soon as you can do that. He was having so much fun, made his Winston Cup debut, ran pretty well. This team has been running a little bit better. He's going to have a baby in April. His wife, Wendy, is pregnant. They had just found out they're having a girl in April, and then they got the letter on Tuesday that said that his sponsor was not coming back next year, and they don't have a sponsor. So, and if they don't have a sponsor, they likely will not go race. So he is indeed auditioning for a job right now, but this sport can just do things to you that are unbelievable.
Yes, it can. Merry Christmas.
How about the champion, Greg Biffle? 60 car took the green flag in 18th spot, and that was for 9th place that he just took away from Joe Nemechek.
And Joe Nemechek, when I talked to those guys this morning, they all pointed at the 87 car as being a car that's very, very good. Jamie McMurray in the 27 car closed up on the back bumper of the 87.
McMurray started in 15th place, and he is moving up to 11th now and working Nemechek for 10th. How about that 87 car, Dave?
Not at all happy with it right now, Alan. He reported it in really tight from the middle off of the center. I just can't get it to turn off the corner. His crew chief, Brian Petty, radioed back that his times were decent, but that they'll just have to work on it when they get the chance.
And unfortunately, this racetrack is so flat and the corners are so long that the proportion of the mix that's car here in handling is greater than at some other tracks. There's not a lot Joe Nemechek can do right now.
No, you know, Rockingham, Atlanta, last month or so, we've seen these cars move up and down the race trying to find the spot, as we see Martha Nemechek, Joe's mom. Here, you're confined to one spot where these cars are running. So you've got to make the car handle on that spot. It's a mechanical exercise here.
It's been a Racetrack of good and bad for Joe and the Nemechek family. This was his third NASCAR Busch Series win at Homestead 1 year ago in this race. Of course, this was the track that back in 1997, Joe's brother John lost his life in a racing crash. The emotions they feel still to this day when the Nemechek family comes to this speedway. Right now, Joe trying to hang in there in 10th spot, get to a pit stop, see if he can make some things work on that car a little bit better than they are now.
Yeah, he's lost 5 spots since the beginning of the race. Oh, we got a crash.
David Green.
Ooh, heavy damage to that car. And it's rolling. I don't know how.
Well, now you know.
You got cars coming on your outside.
You drivers talk about if you can drive it back in, it doesn't go on your resume as a crash.
Killed the back of it, guys. 92.
That's a long walk.
Or imagine that.
Said the 92 car got in the back of him.
I think that's Rick Hendrick we're trying to see there through the traffic on pit road.
It's going to be a tough one to fix. Below the white line. NASCAR says below the white line.
Yeah, that's going to be real tough to fix.
I don't think it's worth even fooling with. It looks pretty bad.
So David Green, the 94 champion, involved in the first accident of the day.
No, I don't think the 92 car got in the back of him.
No.
He was just on the inside of him, lost the air, had no air to lean against, because when you go in the corner, you have that whole side of the car to lean against. It isn't there.
Yeah, but if he drove on the apron, that may have aggravated a little bit as well. You know, what you're saying with the air also. So two things happened there at once.
And maybe David felt like he got pinched a little bit.
That obviously that's what he thinks. Yeah.
Here it is in real time.
I think he did get moved down on the apron, but I think a combined of the air off the spoiler and maybe hitting the apron loosened him up.
All right, 21 laps, and here they all come down pit road.
How many sets of tires do they get today?
3 sets. Everybody's pitting except Hank Parker Jr. He's going to stay out and take the lead. Dave?
And Joe Nemechek will get his favorite pit stall. It's about halfway down, right across from the start-finish line, which is where he hopes he crosses first today. Car making his way in right now. They will change 4. They're going to go down to the track bar, up on the track bar, actually, because the car was tight. And he's making that adjustment now. Joe's going to get 4 full of fuel and send him back out.
Right side service already complete on Jason Keller's Ford. They're going around the left side. The car was tight on entry, loose up off. They made a wedge adjustment. A little bit of trouble on the left rear. Possible lug nut fell off, Marty.
Leader Bobby Hamilton Jr. Matt already gone. He said the car excellent, don't touch it. So they said, okay, we'll just put fuel in it. That's all they did. No tires for the leader Bobby Hamilton.
3 cars did not pit. Then the no tire stop there for the 25 car. So a lot of strategy played out early here. Hank Parker Jr. is going to be the 3rd different leader of the Ford 300. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Getting set to go back racing. It's NASCAR on NBC from the Homestead-Miami Speedway, where tomorrow the curtain comes down on the NASCAR Winston Cup season. Coverage starts at noon Eastern time here on NBC. Get set to go back racing. Number of teams with a strategy play here under this caution flag pit stop.
Hey, Mike, this is Wally. Looks like your car was a little bit of a handful at first, and then it got better. You took 2 tires. What are you thinking?
Well, I watched the truck race yesterday, and the cat that won it got 2 tires, and he said it's the best his truck was all day. I see him back there in that Dr. Pepper car, so he must feel the same way today. I just like 2 tires with 20 laps into the race. We really handled bad the first few laps. Got a little bit better there after we'd run a few. We'll just have to see what these tires do for us and the adjustment that the Dream Team put on me here. See how that goes.
Okay, we'll be watching too.
Michael Waltrip off pit road in 5th position after just getting the 2 tires. Johnny Sauter also got just 2 tires in the 2 car. He's behind Michael in 6th. Fuel only for Hamilton Jr. He lines up 4th, and the first 3, Parker Jr., Blaney, and Martin Truex, did not stop and they take the top 3 spots.
As good as Hank Parker's car was handling there, I think that's a good move on their part. Now, if my car wasn't handling, I probably should have come in for tires, but I think that's a good move on Hank's part.
Third place quickly changing hands. Truex not with the good start, the young New Jersey driver. And Michael Waltrip going to try and take advantage of Hamilton Jr.
Easy, Mikey. Car got a little bit sideways on him. Those new tires on the right are going to take a couple laps to get some heat in them.
And the winner of last week, Scott Wimmer, evidently made 2 pit stops on that caution flag, because with 1 to go, he came down pit road. Matt, what was going on down there?
Benny, they decided to pit again because they still had damage to the right front valence after contact with Bobby Hamilton Jr. They were held on pit road because they leaped over the wall to service the car too soon. They lost a lot of track position on that last stop.
Man, oh man. By now, Scott Wimmer's back in 33rd position.
Tough break there for the driver who's won 3 of the last 7 races on the NASCAR Busch Series. There he is, trying to pick his way back up through the traffic. Moving by Scott Riggs in the 10. So that gets him 32nd place.
Long way to go.
Yeah, long way to go.
But it can be done.
And we can see that the 10 car, Scott Riggs, is struggling so badly. I'll tell you what, here's a guy that's running pretty doggone good in that 31 car, Dave Blaney.
Yeah, both these guys are running in the 3770s, did not change tires. A lot of guys behind him, Benny, that changed tires are running about a half a second slower.
I mean, Blaney started back in 12th and had worked his way up to the top 5 before the caution flag came out. Marty, looks like this 31 car is really good.
He is moving, BP. They're very happy with the race car. Of course, that played into their decision of not making a pit stop. One potential problem for Dave Blaney, maybe a brake problem. He said the pedal feels really soft to him. A lot of times that means there's air in the line somewhere, maybe water in the line, but he has a very soft brake pedal, and you need all the brakes you can have here at Homestead.
Yeah, or he's boiling the fluid in the calipers, which
already
kind of unusual this early. But hey, if those things are, if he's using a little bit more brake, it doesn't look like they've got any brake ducts, you know, pulling air from the nose anyway. So maybe they're getting warm.
That's right. There's no air going through the nose of the car back to cool the brakes. And we heard in Happy Hour today for the NASCAR Winston Cup talking about drilling holes in the front bumper to cool those brakes. If they're doing it over in the Cup side, these guys probably need to do it as well.
Change for third, Michael Waltrip by Bobby Hamilton Jr. So Mikey a little closer to the front. During tomorrow's Winston Cup action, if you check out NASCAR in-car on In Demand, you can get 5 in-car camera channels with virtual dashboards, real-time in-car data, and live team audio. If you've got digital cable, you can order it by calling 1-888-SPORTS-IN.
Now, I think eventually Michael will run these guys down, but still, track position-wise, I think Hank Parker and Dave Blaney made a good move.
Joe Buford, Nashville, Tennessee area driver, spinning around. That's in turn 4.
It looked like he hit a thing.
Nope, and well, they do have a caution flag.
He might have gotten it just a little bit on the right side. So second caution flag of the race is out. And it doesn't look like anybody's in position to try and get a lap back from the leaders. So while they come back around to the caution and the pace car gathers up the field, let's check with Bill Weber.
Well, I'm here in Greg Biffle's pit with car owner Jack Roush. Jack, you just read the release from NASCAR denying your appeal on Mark Martin's spring at Rockingham. First of all, your reaction.
Well, they did pretty much what I expected. You know, the appellate board has been pretty much a rubber stamp for whatever the NASCAR proper has done with regard to their rules and their penalties. I really hadn't expected any relief. It would have been a pleasant surprise had that happened. I think that we're in the right. I think we've been in the right before, and in a sense of the way a dispute would normally be adjudicated and settled in our public court systems, but that doesn't work at NASCAR. They've got their own form of justice.
If you believe that, Jack, why did you take the time and effort to appeal?
Well, it wasn't my decision. You know, my advisors, my legal advisors within the company made that decision, and they did so based on what might follow. And I'm not saying that anything will follow, but we would have closed our options had we not appealed.
There is one more step. You could take it to the commissioner. Will you proceed in that direction?
Again, I'll take that under advisement. I suspect that we won't. We've gone to the first point, the first level of review, and that gets us through the race tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be finished tomorrow. If Tony wins by more than 25 points, which I hope he does, then we can put it all behind us and move on.
But you still can win the championship, obviously.
We can still win the championship if something really unfortunate happens to him, but I'm not wishing that on him. I think that he's had the best car throughout the 35 races we've had to this point. I had trouble with the Winston and with the Busch Clash, you know, or Busch Shootout. But he's had the best car throughout the 35 races, and it would be a travesty if something happens to him and he can't win.
All right, Jack, thanks for your time. Good luck. Just a few minutes ago, Mark Martin and Tony Stewart were in a joint press conference here in the infield of the track. Mark Martin was asked about the appeal and admitted that it was a long shot that they would win. But he said, if we lose the championship by 24 points to Tony Stewart and hadn't appealed, we could never live with ourselves. That's the latest from down here, Alan.
You know, that was a very class statement, that last sentence that Jack Roush said, that Tony Stewart has been the best car. He deserves the championship.
And as they all said, you'll hope it doesn't come down to those 25 points and leave any kind of question mark over a potential championship for Tony Stewart. NASCAR on NBC with the season finale for the NASCAR Busch Series. The Ford 300 about to go back under green at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Hank Parker Jr. still no pit stop. He's out in front. But the guy who was second at that caution, Dave Blaney, did pit under the yellow. Casey Mears didn't get going in the 66.
Well, that could have been a disaster right there.
That could have been a disaster. I tell you what, I think that Hank brought him down so slow that the guy back third or fourth almost ran over someone.
So Blaney, the 31 that pitted on that yellow, restarts back in 32nd spot. And that strategy might be a little hard to figure.
Yeah, I think I like what the 36 team's doing so far. I think if this falls their way, they're going to have the best set of tires at the end of this race.
I like what those guys did when they pitted on lap 25 or so. I like that strategy. When all those leaders pitted, I would have pitted right with them and not gotten myself out of sync.
Yeah, you know, the best call so far has been on that 99 car for Michael Waltrip to me. Pitted, got his fuel tank topped off at lap 22, took just the right side tires to get the track position.
Yep, I agree.
Let's go back and check out what happened on that restart. Watch about 4th or 5th in line on the left-hand side for the 66 car.
Actually, I think the 66 got in the back. It was Jason Keller.
Jason Keller, the guy that all of a sudden looked like he wanted to start and was starting. Boy, that was a ragged restart, wasn't it?
Now, this would be a good look. Jason Keller.
Checking up. He's checking up. Green flag. Keep going. Keep going.
See, he anticipated the start, and then those guys checked up. Yeah, and that's what happened.
Wally, drivers play games on these restarts sometimes, and it's been discussed in some of the NASCAR driver meetings that they have 2 hours before the green flag. They call it brake checking. They play games when they're coming down to the green to try and mess the guys up behind them and keep them from getting the jump on the restart.
You know what? I haven't seen that much of that, Alan. I know they talk about that, but the biggest thing is when you're in the front, it's easy to kind of watch what the leader's doing, what pace. The further back you go, if somebody goes in front of you and then checks up, it's like an accordion. Another thing is guys will lay back and they'll just try to anticipate when they throw that green and get a good run on a guy. And just about everybody does that. That's why NASCAR tries to keep everybody closed up on the restart.
Boy, Biffle just cannot get off the corner very well at all. That 92 car able to run the outside, gets momentum, and outruns the 60 car down the straightaway. I thought Michael Waltrip was going to pass Hank Parker Jr. just a moment ago. He had a great run on him,
but didn't get by. Biffle and Todd Bodine racing for the 8th and 9th positions back there. Remember, this is a backup car for the 92. He had a crash in qualifying on Thursday and had to bring out the backup car. 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow on NBC, Professional Bull Riders presents the Mohegan Sun Invitational, the world's most daring cowboys with 2,000 pounds of bulls, plural. 4 Eastern tomorrow on NBC.
You know, on a conference call with the media on Wednesday, some guy from the Hartford newspaper said, I can't believe you didn't think the Bull Riders would be coming to Connecticut.
Yeah.
I just don't. Bulls and Connecticut, it doesn't go together. Texas and Bulls. Oklahoma.
New
the
leaders.
Booth.
Huh?
The Booth and Bulls.
Yeah, the Booth and Bulls. Yeah, we all go together.
Uh-huh. Michael Waltrip out in front.
He might check out on these boys.
Talking to his crew chief Bobby Kennedy this morning, they really think they've got a great car for this race. You know, Wally, we spend all this money putting all these cameras and microphones in your car last week at Phoenix. You couldn't get us the lead. We put all of your cameras and microphones in Michael's car this week, and he's taken us to the front.
He's got talent. I don't.
But let me tell you something. I'll tell him this. He's also led every race he's been in, Busch race, for about the last 5 or 6.
Yeah, but see the aforementioned point, I guess.
I'm not going to let you. If anybody's going to get me, it's going to be me.
Okay. What's our Stacker 2 race fact this week?
Winston Cup regulars have won 6 of the 7 Busch races at Homestead.
And that goes back to before they had Winston Cup races here. They started running the NASCAR Busch Series here in 1995. Dale Jarrett won that race. It used to be held on an open weekend on the Winston Cup calendar.
So who was the one non?
Allow me to think about that for just a second.
He said Kevin LePage.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, here's Biffle trying it again. Can he get the run? Can he get the run? Maybe. Maybe. He may have position going down in the corner. I'll tell you what, that 92 car hangs pretty doggone tough on the outside.
Randy LaJoie in the 7 drawing in on this race.
He's not going to draw in too close just yet.
Oh, Biffle finally cleared him off the corner.
Hank Parker Jr. slipping back. Ron Hornaday through for second. Jeff Green through. Jason Keller through. Jimmy Spencer coming up to the inside.
Jimmy Spencer had to put all 4 on the apron there.
Now we're starting to see the older tires show up, I believe. So Parker Jr. going to fall back to the 6th position from 2nd in the course of that lap and maybe lose more. Riding with Michael Waltrip at Homestead on NBC. It's the Ford 300 from the Homestead-Miami Speedway, part of Ford Championship Weekend. Tomorrow on NBC, the Winston Cup title deciding race, 12 noon Eastern Time. Then we'll have coverage for you of the NASCAR Busch Series Award Ceremony and the NASCAR Winston Cup Award Ceremony on December 6th on TNT. That's a check of our Wendy's race menu.
And we see Jeff Green, the 21 car. Car qualified first, just took over the 2nd spot. Jason Keller, the white car on the inside, trying to take 3rd away from Ron Hornaday in 26. No pepper-upper there for Ron Hornaday now as he loses 2 spots.
Biffle closing in from behind. And Spencer. On board Jason Keller. Now while this Ford is moving up, another Ford is slipping well back into the field. Marty?
That would be the Ford of Bobby Hamilton Jr. is the one that led earlier today. They are extremely loose right now, and I just talked to his crew chief, Fred Wanke, and remember on the first stop they took fuel only. He said that was a mistake. They should have taken some tires.
Check it out, 25th.
Wow. And he came off pit road about 5th, right? 4 cars did not pit. He was the first car off pit road.
Wow, Biffle all the way on the apron trying to pass Ron Hornaday.
And that was no exaggeration, folks. He was all the way on the apron.
No out of bounds line here.
No.
So if it's paved, it's legal.
And if it's grass, it's legal, but it's not going to work.
It's not advisable.
Yeah.
It's Spencer's car. Just kind of fighting that thing around the corner.
Yeah, that Dr. Pepper car looks like it was a little bit loose there for a second. And he's going to get loose.
Yeah. Especially when Biffle runs in the back of him. No, I guess they're not going to make contact.
Series champion Greg Biffle taking away the 4th spot from Ron Hornaday, trying to close out the year with a victory.
Look how they use all the apron getting in the corner just to make that car turn. I noticed that yesterday in the truck race, those guys would just go in and use the entire apron. The racetrack's up the hill, guys, on the other side of that white line, but doesn't seem to bother them too much.
How about Scott Wimmer? Restarted 24th, 13th now, and moving.
And he restarted that first caution flag back in 32nd to 33rd after that unscheduled stop. They're having to come back in to repair a fender that had some contact on the racetrack.
Scott Wimmer, the Wausau, Wisconsin driver, picked up his 3rd win of the season at Phoenix last Saturday. Matt, he's having a solid run now.
He sure is. 3 wins in the last 7 races. I just spoke to his crew chief, Booty Barker. He says the car is very good after fixing that damage to the right front valence. Now they're just preaching patience. Patience for a driver who's a young driver with a very fast race car.
Right there, he's getting that car in front of him loose, and that is, you know, when you've got a good handle car. He got right on the back of Stacy's bumper there and got that car loose. And see what he's doing right there?
And Stacy doesn't like that too much.
No, but he held him off there.
Watch the front end of that 23 car get right down to the pavement all the way through the corner.
Yeah, that thing is stuck on the ground.
Just what you want to see right there.
Yeah, that's helping him get through the middle of the corner. And he's not getting really, he doesn't look like he's getting any aero push off that car in front of him, which is important here at Homestead.
Hey, guys in the pits, doesn't Booty Barker do the shocks on this 23 car? Isn't he the shock guy?
Talking about the crew chief.
Crew chief, I think he also does the shocks because it looks like that he's got his nose on the ground better than anybody. That front bumper, or valence, whatever you want to call it.
Boy, things starting to get a little mixed up in front of them, too.
Matt?
Benny, you're exactly right. Booty Barker is the shock specialist on the 23 car. Besides beating the crew chief, he was also Jeff Gordon's shock specialist. They won 3 times of the 24 car with Booty doing the shocks.
Yeah, I thought so. Man, that car really looks good.
And second place just changed hands. Jason Keller is through Jeff Green. Problem is they're 2 seconds behind race leader Michael Waltrip. Michael kind of sailing away from the pack here as we approach the 1/4 point of the Ford 300. NBC's coverage of the Ford 300 is brought to you by General Nutrition Centers. Live well with GNC, the official vitamin store of NASCAR. By Pep Boys, help for your cars just a Pep Boys away. Pep Boys, we're car people. And by Net Zero Internet Access. Get the access without the excess. Go to netzero.com today.
All right, here's a pretty good battle for the 3rd position. 21 car, Jeff Green has it.
Biffle's going to take it.
I think he's going to take it because he has better tires and he just slides under Jeff Green up in 3 and 4, takes the spot away.
Pretty forcefully there. Took it away. So Greg Biffle, the 2002 NASCAR Busch Series champion, moves to the number 3 position behind his season-long rival for the title, Jason Keller. And look at the line he's taken into the corner.
That's what I'm saying. You'll see a lot of guys doing that tomorrow, too. Got to be some grip down there, obviously.
I mean, there has to be. Otherwise, he could not drive that car down in the corner at 155 miles an hour. Unbelievable. We're talking about Biffle going below, way below that white line, the apron of the racetrack, which is basically flat to get in these corners.
You see a very steady progression forward for Greg Biffle. Moving his way now into the top 3, and that is the 57 of Keller right in front of him that he's going to try and take another position away from.
Check all 4 tires below the white line. And I said that you don't look around on this racetrack for a line like you would at Atlanta or Rockingham, but I may be wrong. They may invent a line.
Keller says go on.
A lot of times you'll see guys drop on the left sides because that will help turn the car in the center if you're pushing. But you got to have a car that's handling pretty good to drive all 4 underneath that line.
Of course, Biffle and Keller staged a tremendous fight for the NASCAR Busch Series championship all throughout the spring and summer and into the fall months of this season. And we talked with Jason earlier this weekend about what he might take away from racing with Biffle for the championship that he can put to good use next season.
He's taught me a lot in how he does things, how he approaches things, and how he approaches happy hour, how he approaches qualifying, and I've learned a lot from him, and hopefully I can take what I've learned from him and be better next year. And Greg told me something last week that really stuck with me, that winning his truck championship didn't prepare him for winning the Busch championship, but losing the truck championship has helped him be a better points racer. So hopefully by me losing this Busch championship like we've done, that I can be a better points racer, and that's what we're focusing on.
So you see Jason tried?
Yeah.
He saw Biffle do that. He said, hey, let me try that apron.
Now Jeff Green, 21 car, said, hey, look what he's doing. I want to try that.
I want to try that.
So not only did he learn something from Biffle racing for the championship, he learned something following him through turn 1 at Homestead.
Exactly.
Jason Keller running 3rd, Jeff Green 4th, behind Greg Biffle in 2nd, and the leader Michael Waltrip. Past 1/4 distance today here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. The rain has held off so far. Michael Waltrip leads the Ford 300.
The Ford 300 for the NASCAR Busch Series under the green flag here at Homestead-Miami Speedway under threatening skies. Intense rain showers and thunderstorms expected to move through this area later this afternoon. Desperately trying to get halfway, hopeful of getting in all 300 miles, where Michael Waltrip continues to lead here this afternoon. A couple of developing items. We'll go back to the Roush situation in just a moment. There was a report in the garage area about 15 or 20 minutes ago that Tony Stewart was involved in a shoving incident in the garage. According to 2 of the people I have talked to that witnessed the incident, Tony was simply running through the garage, made a sharp left turn, and accidentally bumped into a photographer. I have 2 reliable sources on this that said it was no big deal, although in the media center right now, there are reports to the contrary. But I'm very happy with the people I talked to that this was no big deal. Tony Stewart under tremendous pressure here, under the microscope for every move he makes, had actually been in a press conference earlier, was in the garage, may have been playing games with some of the photographers, like, you're not going to get a shot of me, made a swift turn around the corner and accidentally bumped into someone. And I'm very confident with the people that told me it was no big deal. We'll see how the story pans out. As for the Roush incident, or the Roush appeal of the spring from the Rockingham race, we talked to Jack Roush a few minutes ago. He told us that he did not know if he would continue the appeal process. A statement from Jeff Smith, one of his attorneys, said they will not appeal to the commissioner, that the appeal process has been exhausted. They had to try. They're happy with what they accomplished. Their expectations in the appeal process were very low, but that is over with as far as Roush Racing is concerned. Now, again, on the track, Michael Waltrip running with a stout car. We're in the infield on top of the pit cruiser, our NBC TNT bus, along with the pole sitter for tomorrow's Ford 400, Kurt Busch. Michael Waltrip has an outstanding car. You'd like a car like that tomorrow, wouldn't you?
My goodness, here's all these stories, and then you blend me into this. I was trying to figure out where I was going to fit in, but it was a great poll for us. We got that little Tykes car into the Busch Shootout next year, and hopefully we'll put a big paint scheme together for that so we can run strong. It just seems like when the intensity picks up with the special paint schemes and with the sponsors, we do well, and it's great to see that the team can do that.
Well, in the car, you have to negotiate some tough turns, and sometimes in the broadcast chair, you have to negotiate some tough turns as well. Tell me about this track and about what you've seen so far in this race.
Well, you always look at what the Busch Series, how the race progresses with fresh tires. The Truck Series race was won with 2 tires 2 days ago on Sunday. For us, it's going to be a matter of just making laps and staying up front. We've got a good position to lead a lot of laps, and so therefore guys won't be able to lead laps, and we can take those bonus points away from them. But as long as we're fast enough, we're going to stay up front. If we can't, we've got to maneuver around and keep applying the pressure, because we've come from 12th to 3rd. We're not stopping here.
Hey, Kurt.
Yes, Benny.
Do you have a scanner that you're able to scan Greg Biffle's channel and hear what he and Goss are saying, what the racetrack's doing, and get an idea of what's going on out there?
For sure, and Randy Goss, great crew chief, Jimmy Fanning and him talk quite a bit, so we know exactly what Biffle's got in his car. And the Busch Series, things are a little bit different between the Winston Cup cars and the Busch cars. But of course, Greg and I have similar driving styles, and anything that he does, I can learn from, and we can communicate back and forth real easily.
How tough is it to pass here? Not only the guys that are up to speed, but a lot of traffic, especially lap traffic here.
It's very difficult to pass here. You've got two cars the same speed, and they are the same speed in the same groove. We're watching cars get up onto the apron and able to maneuver. Phoenix, you can get onto the apron in turn 3 and make a lot of time up. And so it's a fine balance of knowing what your car can handle, on where you need to be on the racetrack at a specific time. And then, of course, a lot of green flag racing here. That's key. That's what you have to focus your car on, is making sure that you can run 65 laps will be the fuel window, and that's what the tires will last tomorrow.
Now, you have a teammate battling for the Winston Cup Championship, and Mark Martin going against Tony Stewart. You're in a tremendous battle in the championship standings yourself. The guys 3 through 7 are, what, 23 points apart?
I've never seen it this intense before. It feels great to have that pressure and to be part of it. The only other point situation I've been in before that's similar to this was back in my rookie year in 2000 in the Craftsman Truck Series. I came from 4th to 2nd in the last 5 races. And so I'm just modeling it after that, so to speak. And that's applying the pressure because I'm familiar with things now. I know what Jimmy wants. I know what I want. And it's just a matter of getting it down to the racetrack and putting the power down. And you just keep applying pressure, and hopefully it'll end up in our favor. We won't slip.
Hey, Bill, do you have a monitor down there so Kurt can watch these cars go around the racetrack?
Of course we do.
What do you think about that line that Biffle and some of these guys are taking all the way below the white line, getting in the corner?
Well, let's look at it. Biffle into 3 right here. He'll probably stay above the white line just because we asked him to go below it.
Oh, no, he's down below. No, now he lets the car drift up a little bit.
It does help the car rotate into the corner. When you're racing for so long, it builds right front tire pressure. And when you go down onto that apron, you put the left sides up a little bit higher, and it applies pressure to those left sides to help you turn.
Watch this now. Watch when he goes down. Watch this.
He's got
all 4 tires.
All 4 of them. That's putting it down there so to help it turn. There's fresh asphalt down there, and he's trying to utilize all 4 of his tires down onto that fresh asphalt, and that actually is a thicker cheese grater, so to speak. It grabs the tires, allows him to turn a little bit better. And it looks like he's catching the leader, Walter.
Yeah, he's catching Michael, Kurt, and we've got some guys making green flag pit stops, too, at this point in the race.
And that's where he can do this. He can do it at the end of a tire run. You know you're going to be pitting in 10, 15 laps. You may as well abuse those Goodyear Eagles as hard as you can because you'll never see them again.
All right, Bill, let me just catch everybody up here. Bobby Hamilton Jr. has been on pit road. Steve Grissom, Kenny Wallace, Larry Foyt, Hank Parker Jr., remember, stayed out so long. He's come on to pit road, and Mike McLaughlin has been in for a stop as well.
You know, one thing Kurt was mentioning about how it's really like a cheese grater down there. One thing you got to be careful of now, if you're only going to change right side tires, you don't want to abuse those left sides. Because if you're down there doing that damage to your left side tires, it may hurt you down the road.
Here comes Biffle for the lead.
But, you know, I think Biffle has a little showman, don't you think? Doing it down the front straightaway in front of all the fans. And
oh, Michael.
He's a classy guy. He's got nothing to lose. You may as well go.
May as well go. That's right. Got the championship well in hand.
For me, 4 tires in Winston Cup is usually the optimum goal every time you pit. So Wally's exactly right. He does have the chance of abusing those left side tires, and so I don't know their format right now. I haven't been scanning them, but that could come into play later.
Well, you know, Michael changed 2 that pit stop, and Biffle changed 4. So it looks like right now, Kurt, that maybe 4 tires is the way to go.
It surely does. I don't know how long they've been on this run. And 2 tires obviously will give you track position, but 4 tires, hands down, will beat you over 65 laps. And I think that's what their fuel window is.
Tell you what we're going to see now. If we see a long green flag run in this race like we have now, they're going to run this full fuel load. So they're all going to get 4 tires when they come in because they got to take a full tank of fuel. If they run another full fuel load, they'll need less than that for the sprint to the finish. And if we stay green again, then we'll see a lot of 2-tire stops on the final run here.
Look at that, Alan Bestwick, the crew chief. Those are pretty good numbers. He's caught on to this game.
Hey, I got it all from Wally.
No, I think somebody else gave him that information.
Hey, Slav handed him a note.
Here's what Slav thinks.
I tell you, I get no respect. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody's used that line already.
Made a pretty good living using that line, too, you know.
Yes, he has. Greg Biffle, the 5th different driver to lead this race. Biffle was last on to pit road at lap 22. So we ought to see him on pit road another maybe 10 laps or so. What do you think, Marty?
They're talking about 20 laps, Alan. How about that? Lap 100 is the number they're shooting for. Jeff Green on the racetrack, just behind him a little bit. They're talking about lap 85, so Biffle's bunch can go pretty far to lap 100.
Telton Sawyer in the 37 car. He's trying to put a lap on here.
Elton Sawyer, no one has been named to drive that 37 car next year. The sponsor, Timberwolf, will be back, but so far they don't have a driver, and he would love to be the man. Talking about Elton Sawyer, but decision has not been made.
Biffle has moved away from Michael Waltrip by a full second now. And remember Dave Blaney earlier got out of sequence on his pit stops and fell way back in traffic. Here he comes.
The good news is he's up to 8th spot. But here's the bad news, Marty. He's 9 seconds behind Biffle.
And here's the worst news, BP. That brake problem we talked about is getting worse. It's getting worse the longer they run. The brakes are getting softer, and you just can't have that here at a flat racetrack like Homestead. So they've got a great chassis. The car is excellent, but it just has no brake feel, and you really need that.
Dave Blaney driving for the Ted Marsh operated team out of Connecticut. Make a number of limited Busch Series starts throughout the season. Steve Park drove that car before. Johnny Benson has driven it in the past.
Oh, hang on, Jimmy.
And Blaney has given that car a terrific ride today.
Working on Spencer for 7th place here.
Yeah, we were talking about the brakes. You know, you get on the brakes pretty aggressively, but you really, if your car is working good, you want to get off the brake pedal as fast as you can and let the car roll down in here. Here's a shot of Michael. You see him just tapping those brakes a little bit. Now he's getting off the corner. We'll see what he does when he gets down into the next corner. You may even get a security pump out of him.
Kurt Busch is with us and looking on. Don't be afraid to throw your 2 cents worth in here, Kurt.
Such a ballet it is when you're racing in oval tracks, road course racing. He's just very fine with the throttle. You want to be minimum on the brake here. And so he's bringing up the throttle, and right back now, he's full throttle off of turn 2.
All right, Jeff Green going to give up a top 5 spot on the track to come in for service. Marty.
He started on the pole today, Alan, running in 4th. As you mentioned, the car is tied off for Jeff Green. He wants more forward bite. So what they're going to do is they're going to take some wedge out of the left side wedge bolt. You'll see that going in right there. And they're also going to take a pound out of both rear tires. That should give him more forward bite off the corners. You see some of the 29 guys changing tires on the front, and it's a pretty quick stop for the 21 Busch. He's back out on the racetrack.
Well, that's a great pit stop. And, you know, as Kurt was saying, these races go green for so long. These pit stops are real important because if you lose 2 or 3 seconds in the pit, you're losing about a couple hundred yards on the racetrack. So these green flag stops are important.
Down to 25 cars on the lead lap because of the long green flag run. Dave?
Shane Meals' car is now loose. It was tight earlier. His bad qualifying run, blame it on the car. According to his crew, that car has never qualified well. Happy hour yesterday, very good for Shane. They're going to change 4 tires here, fill it full of fuel on this track. Very tough for a rookie, and Shane did a good job yesterday. He's gone.
I circled that brake dust. We've talked about how much you use the brakes and what have you. When they took that right front tire off, you saw all the dust that had collected on the inside of the wheel.
Yeah, and it's okay. They make these things where as long as you've got just a little bit at the end of the race, they're meant to be worn down. But you have a problem when the brakes are hot. If you have to pump them, that's really aggravating.
Greg Biffle, the race leader, up now by nearly 3 seconds on Michael Waltrip. Really moving away from him at this point in the race.
As a matter of fact, Jason Keller has caught Michael Waltrip. You ever see Mikey go by in 2nd spot? The Aaron's Dream Machine and the Albertsons Ford right behind him, Jason Keller.
Well, remember now, Michael is on the left side tires he started the race on. And that may be starting to show up now. Marty.
Brian Vickers started the day 2nd, Alan, and you know how he learned how to get around Homestead in Phoenix? Tony Stewart here to test. He got a lesson from Stewart, spent about an hour with him, and he got a good lesson, obviously, because he runs this racetrack pretty good, a little bit tight off the corners, 2 rounds down on the right side. They were going to put a rubber in the right rear. They decided against that, running in the top 20. Good for this young guy, Brian Vickers.
You know, BP, I think, don't you think what Michael's losing a lot of track position right now? They should be coming in, wouldn't you think?
Now would be an awfully good time to pit for the 99 car. Obviously, you're always concerned about the caution flag coming out, but Matt?
Jamie Murray had fallen out of the top 10. He was loose everywhere. They've already made a wedge adjustment. They also had radio trouble. Jamie could not hear the crew chief, so they had to relay information back and forth via the spotter.
See a little bit of water spraying out the overflow on that car.
And here comes Greg Biffle, the leader, on the pit road. Okay, slow down. Whoa!
45-mile-an-hour pit road speed today. And they are pitting all the way down toward turn number 1, and that's a long way here at Homestead.
Yeah, this is
he feels like he can walk faster.
Anxious moments right now. It's like, hurry up.
Where's the end of this pit? Where's my pit, please? Where's Marty Snyder? Please, where's Marty?
At the waving sign.
He's looking for me, BP, and he comes all the way down pit road. Remember last time, this team took 4 tires. That was the right call. Made them better on the longer run. Just a little bit tight for Biffle. It'll be a half pound out of the right front tire. They come around to the left side now. Again, they need a critical stop here because Jeff Green's team had a good stop earlier. They were running 4th. Biffle comes in with the lead, throws the water bottle out, and his team delivers. A nice stop, Dave.
4 tires on the 92 car, air pressure adjustment. The car had gone from the middle of the corner to off the corner loose. Remember, they changed 2 tires last time. This time they had to take 4.
And here we see Jason Keller, the leader, now coming down pit road. And Greg Biffle did not have a very good pit stop. He lost 3 or 4 seconds, 4 seconds to Jeff Green.
Where's Jason
I
Keller
think you were
down
thinking
pit
about
road?
Randy LaJoy there, BP. The cars look the same with the blue and white paint job.
You big dummy.
I was talking about the one coming off pit road then.
Okay. They were tight in and free off on the 7 car, guys, on the first run. The changes they made to it really helped the last time, so they're making none this time. 4 tires and off pit road for the 7. Matt?
Now, Jason Keller hasn't won a Busch Series race since the middle of May at Nazareth. 3 times he's finished second. He pulls into his pit box, slides to a stop. He was great for most of that run. Then near the end, he reported into Steve Addington. The car was loose. You can see them making a chassis adjustment as they grab the second can of gas. Jason Sheets, most of the guys on this crew from Dale Jarrett's UPS Winston Cup crew. Jason Sheets finishes the left rear, service complete.
Okay, Michael Waltrip has still not pitted.
I don't understand. I don't have to ask him that sometime.
Kurt? How about that, Kurt?
Well, we saw earlier that he was having trouble getting back to the throttle, and he had to treat it very gingerly. He's still off the throttle now, and it seems like he's losing a lot of time on the exit of the corner. He doesn't have much forward bite. That seems to be the complaint with most every car.
But Kurt, he's losing so much track position right now. Wouldn't it be better to come in for tires?
Okay, guys.
You would think.
One
Here
more
comes.
stop. One more stop. Well, here he comes now.
Okay, well, that won't work.
I guess that won't work. I thought he was going to go with one more stop, but they finally gave up the ghost, and here he comes.
So Michael Waltrip will pit 4 laps after Greg Biffle did. And we'll get the chance for his crew to finally put some fresh left side tires on that thing. Okay, Dave.
Well, they wanted to get to lap 93, Alan. That way, Bobby Kennedy told me that they could put the last pit stop with 1 can of fuel only in case they wanted to take on 2 tires. They're going to make just an air pressure adjustment this time to fix a loose condition for Michael. Take on 4 this time. Packet full of fuel. Mark Parrish doing the job on the fueling there. And now he leads. Casey Kane getting pushed by him, but not obstructing the 99 car at all.
They got a lot of trouble on that left front, look like.
Matt? A chassis adjustment already on Jimmy Spencer's #1 machine. He hasn't scored a top 5 finish since he won Bristol. They're completing work on the left side. 4 tires and fuel.
So Johnny Sauter on pit road in the 2 car getting service. Casey Mears leaving. And the new leader's Dave Blaney.
Got a big hole in the headlight there.
Looks like something came up and knocked the hole in it. Too bad there's not a piece of tape to stick over that, because that will slow the car down some.
Yeah, like somebody's rear bumper.
Yeah.
Came up and hit it.
See, they're trying to pull it out. Yep. In the 0.8 of a second, he had to step around the car and try and do something with it before they finished the pit stop. Here's your leader, Dave Blaney, going to give up the top spot and come in for service at lap 94. And Blaney also pitted all the way down at the turn 1 end. Tim Sauter, Martin Truex, and Ashton Lewis have yet to stop after Blaney pits, and then we'll get back around to Greg Biffle, who will reassume the top spot. Marty.
Dave Blaney hasn't been complaining so much about the brakes lately, more about how tight the car is. Pumps those brakes a couple times, gets the car stopped, does the 31 of Dave Blaney. He is again tight. They will put wedge into the right rear of the car. That should loosen them up a little bit. This is a very inexperienced pit crew. They do have some members from the 77 Winston Cup team and 14 Busch Winston Cup team as well, but this is going to be a long stop for Blaney, a long time on the left rear.
Yeah, they had a tied guy in there. It looked like maybe a Conseco.
Yeah, Conseco. And so Blaney heads back out onto the track after his stop. Tim Sauter is now the leader in the 19 car. Yet to make a pit stop. And then it's going to be Martin Truex, and then Greg Biffle, Jeff Green, Jason Keller, Scott Wimmer, Joe Nemechek, then Michael Waltrip.
Michael lost a lot of ground. I know they had trouble, it looked like, on that left front wheel that had some problems with the lug nut.
Let's move it back to the foot camera if we can check it out. We can probably see him plant the throttle pretty good now, and he'll be maintaining time. He won't be losing as much time anymore, but look at him. He's right on the bottom of the racetrack, probably getting a good bite up off the corner now.
Love those fresh tires, huh?
It's almost like clean air when you have a restart. It's like a drug. You have to have it, and you don't want to wear it out too quickly.
Right. Driver's best friend.
Yes, new tires are definitely a driver's best friend.
All right, here we go, Kurt.
Here's the foot cam. Oh, he's already got it to the mat. Let's watch him as he comes down the front straightaway.
You see that see that left foot up off the brake?
Off it. Little brake. Brings it down to the white line. He'll go after the throttle a little bit, and then he'll go down pretty early. And there it is.
And you see this piece here above his foot. That's in case the throttle were to hang when he gets to the corner. He can take the top of his foot and jerk it up.
It's a great safety add-on. You can put those on top of the gas pedal there. In case you have that problem, it's a good way to get out of it quickly. But Roush Racing has a different sensor as far as brake pedal pressure versus vacuum in the race car. And if we go for too much brake pedal pressure, it'll actually cut the ignition off in the car. That's a great thing that they were able to come up with this year.
Have you had that happen to you?
Never had it happen. We'll knock on wood. And this Irwin bus here we got, and hopefully it won't happen to us. And it's just, it'll probably be the most threatening thing you've ever felt in your life.
Hey guys, guess what?
What?
1 lap to halfway.
Oh, okay.
Going to get this thing in despite the rain that's threatening around this racetrack. And I'm telling you, if you look at the radar, there's green and yellow and everywhere.
You're the only one that's been threatening rain here all day.
No?
Yes, you have.
Okay, fine.
It's been a beautiful day here.
I watched our...
Now it's like, oh.
I watched our fine NBC affiliate in Miami this morning and their weather forecast, and he said if you were going to the racetrack, bring your weather radio.
I watched the Weather Rock today.
Yeah, and it's dry so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Greg Biffle leads halfway through the Ford 300 in Miami. Tomorrow, the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship for 2002 will be decided here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. It's the Ford 400, final race of the season, live on NBC starting at 12 noon Eastern Time.
Well,
here's Biffle points racing.
Yes, we've already determined that he's the Busch Series champion for 2002, so he decided what to... He tried to win the race last week in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Came up 15 laps short.
Napa Field summary on the day. Caution flags, only a couple of them. David Green involved in a crash at lap 22. Joe Buford spun at lap 32. Both drivers are fine. Leaders today, Michael Waltrip for 40 laps, Greg Biffle for 19, Hamilton Jr. for 19, Parker Jr. for 18, Blaney, Jeff Green, Keller, Tim Sauter, all for a handful apiece. Cars out of the race, Dana White, David Green, David Ruderman. Ruderman out with an engine problem early.
Hermie Sadler in the 43 car, Curb Records car, going a lap down to Greg Biffle.
That's actually his second lap down, BP.
Is it?
35th place for him. How about that 23 car?
Man. Scott Wimmer in that 23 has been so fast. Uh-oh. Off the pace.
Todd Bodine had gotten word from pit road during that last commercial break that they thought they dropped a valve or something. We're not running on all 8 cylinders. I think that has multiplied itself now.
That's worse than that now.
Okay. Yeah, and it's a shame, guys, too, because that backup car actually is one that led at Nashville earlier this year, pitted under green and got put a lap down. So they were pretty happy in their backup situation, but they talked to me and said it's definitely motor and that's not looking good.
And this is one of the teams that has no idea whether they'll be at Daytona in February or not for the start of the 2003 season. Sponsorship situation unsettled for that 92 car. A lot of guys in this field in that same situation.
And in this booth.
Greg Biffle is out in front of Jeff Green by 5 seconds. Something I need to know? Arena football is kind of like a NASCAR race at Bristol. A lot of mayhem in a very confined space. A lot of fun.
And Alan, I hear that you, the big strapping football person you are going to be doing some arena football.
Should be true. I played football.
Oh, did you?
When I was a kid.
You did?
Yeah, I was the right guard.
And what age limit did you quit playing?
About 13.
Oh, yeah.
Then he went out for the baseball team. Didn't do well there either.
All right, this is abuse Allen Day, I can see. Second place here. Scott Wimmer's about to abuse Jeff Green.
Uh-oh, we got a car in the wall.
Trouble. Looks like Kevin Grubb.
You know, that car looks almost identical to the 5 of David Green's car, doesn't it? Well, maybe not torn up as bad.
Caution flags out. Third one of the race. And a lot of the crashes that happen here at Homestead end up back end into the wall heavily like that.
Yeah. Now,
Johnny Sauter in the 2, Grubb in the 54, turn 3, and it's not going to work out for Kevin.
It looks like the 2 car got into the left rear.
yeah, it looks like some contact between the 2 that sent the 54 spinning around.
That's never a good feeling, is it?
No, it's always difficult to accept a wreck like that. Been in a situation similar to that.
I was going to say, is he waiting to talk to somebody when they go by like some other guy I saw at the Brickyard this year?
I'm pretty sure he learned a lesson from that as well as I did. It's difficult to say. I mean, the 2 were racing into the corner very, very hard, and on the outside you can get your right sides up in the marbles very easily, but it looked like he got a little help in the left rear.
What lesson did you learn at Indianapolis?
It's okay when your car's wrecked as long as you're okay. I mean, there's other days where you can bounce back, I guess. There's not many lessons you can learn. You just have to take a new approach.
Kevin Grubb walking away for the trip to the medical center in the infield and the checkup from the doctors. It's going to set up an interesting little fuel situation here. Pit stop's going to come with 86 laps to go. Going to be a lot of people can't make it. Going to be a couple that just might be able to.
There's going to be some that probably will try, but my guess is these first 2 cars are not going to be able to make it. They'll have to stop for splash and go. That's why they're stopping now. Get in tires.
Greg Biffle, Scott Wimmer, Jeff Green, Jason Keller, Joe Nemechek, Michael Waltrip, Dave Blaney, top 7 onto the pit road.
Now, wouldn't you change 4 tires in these first few cars? Matt, what are they going to do down there?
What a run Scott Wimmer's having back on lap 25. He's all the way back on 40th. The car has come in nicely. They've got 4 sticker tires ready for Wimmer. No adjustments. A little slow on the right front for Wimmer. Marty?
Matt, 2002 champ Greg Biffle is your leader. He's on pit road, a little tighter this time. Remember last time they took a pound out of the right front. This time they put a half pound into the right rear tire for Greg Biffle. In front of him, Jeff Green with a quicker stop, already off pit road. He is loose off. They made a wedge adjustment trying to tighten him up, and a trouble for the 23 stop.
Oh, terrible stop.
They had trouble not only looked like on the right front, but the left front.
I'll tell you one thing. It's a good thing he's got a good, fast race car.
He's going to need it.
He's going to need every bit of horsepower and all the handling that he can come up with to get back to the front.
And it's good it happened under yellow, because if that would have happened under the green, that could have cost him the whole race.
Off the pit road first was Jeff Green. Beat Greg Biffle out.
And Kurt Busch, I know you're not going to like this, but remember this? Remember this?
Well, there was a big difference between what this wreck was and the wreck we had today. And that was deliberate. And the one that happened today was a racing deal where Kevin Grubb probably won't race into the corner side by side with the 2 car anymore.
We just wanted to make sure everybody knew what we were talking about when we said you know, the feeling of when you get out of the car and all that. We wanted to make sure nobody was missing the meaning. We don't like to leave people.
Now there was a painted picture for him, so
There you
everybody's
go.
good again.
But Kurt, you've got to tell the people what you were telling Jimmy when you hit yourself in the rear end. It goes back to your short track days.
Yeah, I think everybody knows that means go to the rear of the field. That was a deliberate spin that somebody had given to somebody, and that means you got to go to the back of the pack.
And Kurt, another thing is you'll find out about this group is they have everything you do on file.
Always.
Yeah, no, we didn't show any highlights from your wins or your pole winning run.
Yeah,
we showed you getting wrecked at the Brickyard 400. How about that for treating a guest?
Yeah, I knew where I was coming, so you got to come with the territory. And things have been good since then. We've gone through a little bit of a slide, but we've gotten back up, and hopefully tomorrow we can finish strong.
All right, well, thanks for joining us. You start on the pole. You'll lead them to the green flag, final race of the year. Best of luck to you. Good luck in that points championship chase as well.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Okay, the guys 3 through 7th in a very tight battle for those points, just separated by 23. Of course, Tony Stewart and Mark Martin will be battling for the Winston Cup Championship here tomorrow. Our NBC Sports coverage begins with the Discover Card Countdown to Green at noon Eastern Time. We'll talk to Tony. We'll talk to Mark. We'll talk to the guys 3rd through 7th in the points. We'll paint the whole picture for you. We'll have an interesting look at the Golden Benny. Wally will take you for a lap around the track. Dave discovers that points equals money. And we'll also take a look at the challenges NASCAR faces in 2003. That's tomorrow beginning at noon Eastern Time right here live on NBC, the Discover Card Countdown to Green. If you miss the countdown, you start the race a lap down. That's the story from the pit cruiser. Let's go back up to the nice, comfortable, warm booth.
Yeah, like it's really chilly down there. We're in Homestead, Florida, Bill. Come on. Long green flag run. We haven't been able to talk to Mikey for a while.
Let's talk to Mikey. Mike, this is Wally. You're probably pretty happy you saw that yellow there. It you gained a little track position there. I know you were about 13 seconds behind. How's your car?
Well, I've been real loose all day, but I've been afraid to do anything to it. This time we made just a slight chassis adjustment, so hopefully the tires will agree with the adjustment. It'll all agree with me, and we can race these guys. We're pretty fast just then under the green flag, just way behind.
Okay, we'll be watching. Good luck.
Okay, y'all doing all right up there?
Yeah, we're doing okay. Alan's not doing too well, you know, in the booth, but that's typical. Benny and I are carrying him again in the telecast. But you know how you know how it was last week.
No excitement from my car like you were providing, though. I'm sorry.
Well, you can knock into a couple of guys if you want. Just, you know, you can do that.
Tried that at Rockingham. That didn't work out.
Yeah, you gave us plenty of excitement there. All right, you're coming to the green. Good luck, Mikey.
Michael Waltrip going to restart in 5th position with 83 laps to go when the green will come out. Jeff Green, the leader. Greg Biffle, 2nd. Jason Keller, 3rd. Ashton Lewis up to 4th. 2 tires on his stop for the 46 car. And then Mikey in 5th. Scott Wimmer going to restart 12th.
Oh, man. And those first 2 cars clear that traffic, and boy, that's important.
And here goes Biffle trying to get by Jeff Green on the get-go. Pushing him off turn 2.
All over the place over there.
Caution is coming out for rain.
Caution is out for rain. We are past halfway. They'll race back to the start-finish line for positions. Here comes Biffle, going to try and get the top spot away from Jeff Green off the last corner.
Can he do it on the outside? Wow. He's got to run.
Pick it up a little bit.
Greg Biffle to the caution flag first. How about that?
That was a power move there, wasn't it? Wow.
You don't see a pass on the outside at this flat racetrack very often. Okay, caution is out for rain. It is sprinkling a little bit all the way around the racetrack now. We'll see what happens here as far as the intensity of the weather. And by the way,
oh, I hate when it rains.
The weather rock is wet now.
Yeah.
Let's go to pit road, Dave.
Well, Alan, Todd Bodine was trying to make it to halfway on that sour motor when he came in from pit road. David Green came in and addressed what he considered an incident with you guys earlier on the track. What happened between you two?
David got a run out of me off of 2 and went down into 3, and I gave him a lane. I don't know what more I can do than give him a lane. Even if I didn't give him the lane, you run on the apron. This place, I mean, I was racing on the apron. Everybody does it. So, you know, I hate it for him. You know, he's trying to get that right for next year. He's a great driver, a great team. You know, I hate it for him, but I did nothing wrong. And it's a shame that we blew up. We had a great race car. Tony did an excellent job making some changes this morning. The guys had an awesome pit stop right there. It was like a 14 flat. That's awesome for a Busch team, and these guys do it all the time. And we were trying to make it to this rain. You know, we knew it was going to come, and just trying to get there, and didn't quite make it. But you know, this is a great team. Herzog Jackson Motorsports team's an awesome race team. Need a sponsor. Talking to some people. Hopefully they can get it for next year, and I can come back.
All right, thanks, Todd. The exchange between them was words only. The crew from the 5-car actually came over and gave them some sheet metal here. The crew chief of the 92 wrote this on here. Rambo's a big joker there, but this sheet metal came from the 5-car, and they wanted to make sure that the 92 was presented with it, guys.
What a great game, isn't it?
I'm telling you.
Can't we all just get along?
Yeah.
Just be friends.
Now, check out the radar. Where we are
is somewhere right,
right under the bottom of that line there.
Yeah.
That's it.
There. Again, at the bottom of the line.
So, question is, does that just kind of nip us and move away, or does it settle in for a little while and cause this thing to be stopped short of its scheduled distance? Pace car is out in front of the field. In fact, the umbrella's up over the flag stand. While we wait out the rain, let's take this break from Homestead. NBC's coverage of the Ford 300 is brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer and Easy Drinking Busch Light. Busch, the proud sponsor of the NASCAR Busch Series. By the 4,000 CarQuest Auto Parts stores in North America. And by McDonald's. Caution for rain at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, just past the midway point. We're at lap 121 of the 200 scheduled today. Caution comes out, drivers get the word. It's raining, you're racing back to the caution.
And you know, normally there's a gentleman's agreement that you do not race back to the caution flag. Right now the caution flag is out, and here comes Biffle on the outside. And you and I talked during the break.
Hey, you're racing for the checker.
The race may be over.
And if you didn't like it, too bad.
But watch this. On this so flat racetrack, only 6 degrees of banking in this corner, to put the car up on the outside when there's moisture out there too. That's some bravery.
And we know that his car handles on the apron, but Greg Biffle talking about in the 60 car, we've seen him down there, but we have not seen him up high like that.
Marty, we've seen this racing back to the caution thing be a discussion point between these drivers before, right?
Exactly right, Alan. And Greg Biffle wanted to make sure that the pass was okay with Jeff Green, because he didn't know if Jeff was playing by the same rules that he thought he was playing by. So he sent his crew chief Randy Goss over to talk to Jeff Green's crew chief Butch Hilton, and said, hey, was Jeff okay with that? He said, yeah, we're racing to the caution, and it's past halfway, and it's raining, so that's fair game. And Jeff said he just couldn't get his car to go, so Jeff was playing by the same rules.
I can't believe how nice these guys were getting. Hey, was that okay with you that I passed you on the outside? I mean, you got a problem with that, BP?
Oh, it cost me 50, 60 grand. Oh, it's okay.
You want the spot back? You
no,
sure?
No, I think, go ahead. You can have it.
Thanks.
We're only teasing, guys. We're only
sarcasm
teasing.
Alert. Sarcasm alert.
We're only teasing.
Randy Goss, crew chief for Greg Biffle, going to pick up his Champions Crew Chief trophy when the NASCAR Busch Series awards are passed out soon. Waiting it out. It's not raining heavily enough to stop the cars under the red flag, but not stop completely so we can put them back under the green either. Looking down at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, some raindrops on the lens from the camera in the helicopter. It's not heavy enough to stop the race and put it under the red flag, but it's not stopped enough that they've cut them loose yet and resumed the Ford 300 under green. Next Saturday, NBC has Notre Dame football for you at 1 Eastern time. It's Rutgers taking on the Fighting Irish. Notre Dame with a 9-1 record, looking towards the New Year's Day Bowl. It's the final home game of the season in South Bend. Notre Dame football, Saturday, 1 Eastern, NBC next week. Marty, what you got?
Well, let's solve this debate, Alan. Butch Hilton, the crew chief for Jeff Green. So while he says drivers are getting too soft now, that they sent his crew chief over to make sure that pass was okay.
Well, I think you got to race back in that situation. Greg's got a great car. Our car's a little bit slow on the start. It doesn't run very good on the other end. We're working on it, trying to get it better.
I just want to say thanks to Rockwell Automation. We've had a long run with them here at RCR, and they're going to be leaving us to go over to Gibbs next year, and welcome payday on board for us for next year.
I think the greater concern for you guys is that now you're behind Biffle, and it's going to be hard to get around him.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. The guys in the pits are the only way we've gotten around him all day, so they've been doing a great job here. Maybe we'll get one more shot at adjusting on it, and we'll get better.
All right, that's going to be the hard thing, passing him on the track.
Still waiting to see when we'll get the restart. We'll take a break from Homestead and come back in a minute. Pace cars off, coming to the green flag in the Ford 300.
Green, come on.
All righty. Greg Biffle out in front with that bold outside pass on Jeff Green, coming to the yellow for rain. Fuel mileage a question for a lot of people to the finish of this one. And will it actually get to the scheduled 300-mile, 200-lap distance?
Well, if it goes green, there are going to be some guys that run out. There were some guys that stopped there coming to the green. They stopped and topped off. The 21 guys say they probably can't make it. Boy, that's going to be pretty close. Have to come in 4 laps to go.
No.
Biffle will just stay out, I would think.
I mean, right now, the first 3 cars have nothing to lose as far other than money and prize money, because Biffle has the championship locked up. Jeff Green is not running for the championship.
Jeff Green's loose there.
And Jason Keller, he can't lose second spot. So,
and he just took second spot in the race away from Jeff Green. 57 car up to the runner-up position.
Look at Jeff is weaving the car back and forth, thinking he's got some debris on there.
And making sure that he doesn't have a flat tire. It got so loose, he said, whoa, I wonder if I have a flat tire. And I think by weaving back and forth, he can determine if maybe one of the rear tires are flat.
With Michael Waltrip trying to get by the lap car of Casey Kane, 20th place, first one a lap down in that 98 machine. He can't move over that much because he's racing the 18, Mike McLaughlin right behind him. There's Jimmy Spencer in the 1, the yellow car, 5th place. Now with the lap traffic separating himself from 4th place, Michael Waltrip.
Michael's taking a look at Jeff Green. Looks like he's got his hands full all of a sudden. I don't know if he did get something on the tires. He's going back underneath Michael, but boy, his car is very twitchy in the center of the corner, right there.
3rd place here, and Michael Waltrip has the spot. Problem for Michael is that Biffle's put about a half a straightaway on him. Little onboard video with Kenny Wallace here. What do we got?
Oh, he gets in the side of the 46 car. Kenny got loose, and when he chased it up the hill, he chased it right into the side of the 46.
Ashton Lewis is running 6th right now.
On the last lap of the caution flag, 2 lead lap cars came in and topped off their fuel. Dave Blaney and Jamie McMurray. They're 17th and 19th respectively now. Wasn't it just Atlanta a few weeks back where McMurray won a race on fuel mileage?
I think I remember that.
Michael Waltrip was one of the dominant cars and ran out. Or had to stop under the green, rather. Nemechek tried to stretch the fuel and ran out, and McMurray came through and stole the checkered flag.
But we can see a raindrop or 2 on the camera lens. But, I mean, it's certainly nothing to slow the race down, stop the race.
That was from the helicopter. That one's tough to dry off. Maybe.
Well, maybe.
Here was that Atlanta race I was talking about a couple of weeks back. This was mid-October. Michael Waltrip dominated that race, but had to make an extra pit stop for fuel, one more than Joe Nemechek. Nemechek, with the checkered flag in sight, runs out of fuel, coming to the white flag, and there goes McMurray. Led 1 lap in the race, the last one.
Just enough.
Nemechek took the checkered flag on pit road, out of fuel, coasting around, final lap and a half. Could see something like that today.
Could.
Jimmy Spencer starting to close in on Jeff Green for 4th place. Spencer in this 1 car, winner back at Bristol. Picked up the victory there. It's been a real hot or cold season for this team. They've had a lot of races. 10 of the 22 races they've run this season, they failed to finish.
But when they have finished, the yellow cars finish well.
Yeah, they're right there. Greg Biffle out in front by a 2.5 seconds on Jason Keller. 68 laps to go. Weather threatening. Fuel to the finish a question. A lot of drama to come from Homestead. Race for the lead shaping up in the Ford 300 at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. 63 laps to go at the line. Jason Keller all over the back bumper of Greg Biffle.
Something's up with this 60 car. Has to be, because he's lost a second or so in speed in the last 3 or 4 laps.
And for the first time all day, Jason Keller will lead this race under green.
Yeah, that car's loose. Oh, yeah. Big time loose. Left rear, maybe?
Actually, check that. Second time today for Keller, because
Marty?
he led during the green flag pit stops.
Help us out here, Marty. Boy, he is loose. He's got to have a tire going down. Marty.
Yeah, he thinks he does have a flat tire, Wally, and he just came on the radio and said that. He wanted to know all the changes they made on that stop, and Randy Goss said all we did was add a pound to the right rear tire. He does think he has a tire going down. Randy Goss told the crew, just hold on for a minute. Let's ride it out and see if it's maybe an air pressure situation. Maybe, you know, there's a change in pressure, maybe moisture on the racetrack, something they're trying to grasp or whatever it could be, but the car has definitely changed for Greg Biffle, and he continues to radio to his team, and he says he's going to come next lap, and they're going to be ready for 4 tires on the next lap, says Greg Biffle.
Trying to get a look here, BP. It's hard to see from here. Maybe the left rear is a little bit low, but 21 car is another car that looks like Jeff Green just looks like he's been struggling in the center of the corner here since this restart. And here's Ashton Lewis.
Man, what a great drive for this 46 team.
Yeah.
Here's a team that has struggled all season long. Young driver Ashton Lewis out of Chesapeake, Virginia, 30-year-old. Had 12 races this season. They have failed to finish. 12, count them, league leading. Yet the last couple of weeks they've come on with some great runs. Finished 9th in Atlanta. Had a good run at Phoenix last week with an 8th place finish.
Yeah, I raced with him a little bit there. He did a really good job.
And great to see for that team that he and his brother basically operate. Family-owned team there for Ashton Lewis.
Is that Nemechek under green there? Yeah.
Here comes the 87 back into the picture. Remember, Nemechek faded a little bit in the early laps. Really, I think it's been a track position game for him since then. He just hasn't had it.
Oh, easy.
Oh, and Jimmy Spencer, while the 21 car was on the apron, just decided to try to drive up on the outside.
By the way, Kevin Grubb treated and released from the Infield Medical Center. He's fine, though no doubt very disappointed. So Jimmy Spencer going to pick up a spot from that 21 car, and Jeff Green's slide backwards continues. That'll put him back to 7th.
Jeff's been on the apron, off the apron, and he's been all over the place and can't get that car to stick.
And here comes the 23 of Scott Wimmer back into the picture. Remember, at lap, with 86 to go, Wimmer came down pit road running 3rd, came off 12th, and Biffle's problems continue in the 60.
He almost hit the wall that time. You know,
that left rear looks low to me.
Sooner or later, he's got to pit, doesn't he, Marty?
Yeah, well, right now it's kind of a debate between Randy Goss and Greg Biffle. Greg keeps saying, I think there's a tire flat, and Randy keeps saying, just make sure there's a tire flat. So he has left it in Greg's hands now. If you know it's a flat tire, come down pit road. Otherwise, stay out. So they're trying to debate as to whether it's actually flat or not.
Well, in the meantime, he's a 2.5 slower than everybody. So.
And Jeff Green continuing to slide backwards also. That would be 8th place. Green goes back to as Scott Wimmer moves up to 7th. Time is the question for Wimmer. Needs a caution to try and get him a chance to catch up to Jason Keller. No, he's got a fast race car, but he's got a long way to go to try and catch up. He's 9 seconds behind the race leader. 58 laps to go. Weather still skirting the area. Fuel to the finish, still a question among some of the leaders. It's going to be interesting here at Homestead. NBC's coverage of the Ford 300 is brought to you by Ford. With 150 million vehicles sold, Ford is America's #1 choice. And by Wrangler, real comfortable jeans. The champion has had to come in, Marty.
He said, I just cannot drive it anymore. Here's the gamble they're going to take. Randy Goss said, let's just change right side tires on pit road, because if we change 4, we will definitely go a lap down. So they only change right side tires. If it is the left rear, they'll have to come back in and change left sides.
Well, I've already gone a lap down anyway.
Yeah, I think I'd have taken the 4.
Really?
I mean, there's Michael Waltrip, who's in 2nd position coming off turn 2, that Biffle's going to try to chase down. And Michael Waltrip is 3.5 seconds behind the leader, Jason Keller.
Well, the pit stop takes the fuel out of the equation anyway.
Yeah.
For the 60 car.
Well, that's right. He can definitely go the rest of the way.
Michael Waltrip's gaining a little bit of ground on Jason Keller, but not much, as you see Biffle sliding in behind Waltrip as far as relative track position is concerned. It's going to drop Biffle to the first car, 1 lap down in 19th place, Marty.
And Randy Goss's gamble paid off. The right rear tire from Greg Biffle, when it came off the car, has a huge chunk out of it. You can see it right there. There's a chunk out of it. They put some water on it, and it bubbled up. That is indeed where the air was coming out, and it was 13 pounds of pressure on the tire when they put the gauge on it. And you can see the bubbles popping up right now. That's where the air is coming out of Greg Biffle's right rear tire.
You know, if he had just stopped when it happened right away, he would have saved himself how much? 6 or 7 seconds?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? When a guy like Biffle, when he says, "Hey, I think I got a tire going down," guess what? He's probably got a tire going down.
Remember all that good fortune and bad fortune and so on, and that Dave Blaney has had today?
Looks like he's coasting right now.
Yeah, no power there on 31, headed to the garage.
That's too bad.
Yep.
Because that car was very fast.
Led the race earlier. Got on a different pit stop schedule with the other leaders. Looked like it might be going to work out in his favor. Then it looked like it wasn't going to work in his favor. And then he topped off the fuel under that last caution and was in position to outlast everybody on gasoline. And none of it's going to matter for him now. Next Saturday, NBC, 1,500 of the world's best athletes accept the challenge of swimming, biking, and running a marathon all in one day. It's the Ironman Triathlon World Championship, 4:30 Eastern, next Saturday on NBC.
How many people did you say?
1,500.
I didn't know there's that many crazy people in the world.
Yeah, I was to say, you didn't think there'd be 1,500 people willing to do that, huh?
No.
Let's see, 2.4-mile ocean swim, 112 miles on a bike.
What?
Then the 26-mile marathon on your feet.
Okay. Yeah, it was rough when I did it.
I bet it was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Folks, I'm only, and as a matter of fact, I'm only kidding those folks that do that. My heart bleeds for you.
You know how to tell Wally's lying?
His lips are moving.
His lips are moving. 49 laps to go. Let's go through the field. How about the leader, Matt?
Jason Keller holding station at the point. He hasn't won in over 5 months, trying to win his season's 5th win. If he doesn't get a caution, it may not come today. Steve Addington, the crew chief, says they are at least 2 laps shy, Dave.
Matt, the 99, pitted on lap 114 to correct left fender damage and correct a loose off condition with wedge. They cannot make it on fuel. A couple of laps short, according to crew chief Bobby Kennedy. The 87 of Joe Nemechek also pitted on lap 114. They considered pitting on lap 125, but they still would have been short, according to the crew. Yes, the Atlanta race where they ran out of fuel definitely played into their decision-making. Matt?
Dave, Scott Wimmer bouncing back, trying for his 4th career win. I talked to his crew chief, Booty Barker. Before that last caution, they were about 5 or 6 laps shy. He says now it's too close. They are just going to roll the dice. They're going for it. He's not stopping. If they do get a caution that they have to pit, Tommy Hubert from the Caterpillar team has come in to replace Donnie Tarantino. Meanwhile, the 46 of Ashton Lewis Jr., looking for his 1st career win, runs in 5th. They took on 2 tires for track position in their last stop. They are going to roll the dice and go the distance, says his brother, his crew chief, Charlie Lewis. Meanwhile, Spencer, there's no way they can go the distance, says his crew chief, Mark Reno, via Johnny Allen, the car chief. They are at least 10 laps shy. Marty?
Jeff Green running in 7th right now. They are about 12 laps short, Matt. He said they need 5 gallons of fuel when they do come down pit road. The car wicked loose right now for Jeff. They think this tire, the set of tires they have, not matching up quite as well as the early ones were. Bobby Hamilton Jr. has come back to life. The car was very good earlier on, then he got very loose. Now the car has come back to him, made his way back up to the 8th position. They too are just a little bit short, but they may gamble, Dave.
Randy LaJoie thought he had a broken front shock earlier. The car was so tight. It was not that condition. They made an air pressure adjustment on lap 114. Unfortunately, they cannot make it to the end of the race on fuel. They will be 10 to 15 laps short. Matt, back to you.
Jack Sprague wrapping up a very successful career at Hendrick Motorsports today here in Homestead. Currently in the 10th position. They cannot make it to the finish without stopping. They will have to stop and top off.
So there's your top 10, and most of them Most of them can't make it. I heard one there say we're going to go for it. They didn't say whether they could make it or not. They're just going to go for it.
And a lot of it's going to have to do with not just how quick the pit stop is, but getting on and off pit lane could be a big factor here.
And not getting caught exceeding that speed. 45-mile-per-hour speed limit on pit road.
Took you through the top 10. There are 17 cars on the lead lap. Behind Jack Spray, you've got Brian Vickers in 11th, Casey Mears in 12th, Ron Hornaday 13th, Stacy Compton 14th, solid run for Shane Meal in 15th, then Hank Parker Jr., the early leader, in 16th, and Jamie McMurray tagging out the field in 17th. There's the 18th place car, first one a lap down, Marty.
Well, I just talked to Randy Goss, the crew chief. He said that solved all their problems, changing those right side tires. Good in the fact that they were going to have to stop anyway because they too were short on fuel, and also good because a lot of the cars in front of them will have to stop as well. But there's also so much track position now, back in 18th position, but the car is still excellent.
It might work out for them. They'll get a decent finish out of it. Might not be enough to win the race, but they'll get a decent finish if it stays green to the checkers.
Well, they'll pick up some spots because the right side tires and new tires has helped the car run a little bit faster, and all the competition are going to have to stop and go down pit road as well. And they just changed right side, so it wasn't an extended stop.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Second place here, Joe Nemechek on the move. He's got it from Michael Waltrip. And here comes Scott Wimmer into the picture.
Now that's bad news for the competition.
Man,
that 23 is fast.
We watched this car earlier. One of the best car I can see through the center of the corner. Makes up a lot of time right in the middle on these guys.
Just jumps to the inside of Michael Waltrip.
That's how Tony Stewart's car has been here the last couple of years. He can stay down on the bottom of that racetrack and hook it through the center, and man.
So Scott Wimmer to third, Michael Waltrip back to fourth.
Look how that car bounces too on the front. Soft springs and a lot of shock, I would think.
I think so.
Now Wimmer will jump up there and challenge Nemechek for second, but we're going to take our final commercial break under Green Flag Racing here. So when they start with these final dash and splash stops on pit road, we'll be back for them live at Homestead. The Homestead-Miami Speedway in the Ford 300 season finale for the NASCAR Busch Series, now down to its closing laps. 37 to go. Jason Keller is the race leader, going to finish second in the NASCAR Busch Series Championship. Right now he's out in front of Scott Wimmer by 3.5 seconds, closing in on what will be a final series of stops for fuel for all of the race leaders, most all of the race leaders.
Maybe some of the race leaders.
But Scott Wimmer says he's going to try to make it, but right now he's much faster than Jason Keller, talking about the car in second position. That time he was almost a second faster, so in a half a dozen laps he'll be in front of Jason Keller. There he is.
And the 87 car, Nemechek, is right with him too, stride for stride. So Keller is kind of backing up a little bit here as far as his lap speeds are concerned. And the other thing that's happened while you were away in the break, Greg Biffle went by the 57. So now Biffle is back on the lead lap. And remember, he's already stopped.
And he's fast right now with those two fresh right side tires.
Here's Biffle going out of the frame to the bottom. As we check back now from the leader, Keller, to second place, Scott Wimmer.
And look how much faster that Wimmer is than Jason Keller. 2 miles per hour. Oh, he's not even the fastest car.
I was going to say, if they go all the way down to 17th, Biffle will be the fastest car. By almost a second a lap right now.
It's interesting because we've whittled down the number of cars on the lead lap now a little bit. If the caution comes out, everybody's still got a set of tires they can change onto the yellow. So they'll all come in, put on fresh tires, and have a real scrap to the finish. If it goes green, some people are going to try to make it. Some people will stop. Biffle's way back there, a little less than a full lap behind. He's good to go to the finish. It could get pretty wild. Wimmer getting held up a little bit here. A couple lap cars side by side. 37 and 38. Elton Sawyer and Mark Green are racing for a position. They're racing for 25th and 26th.
slot car.
The 23? Yeah.
You know, he looked that way last week at Phoenix. We were up in the booth. You were out there competing against him, but he looked about that good last week. No wonder you couldn't catch him. No wonder you couldn't catch him, huh? You know, there's Hermie Sadler, and Matt Yoakum was telling us during the commercial break that Angie, his wife, is in the hospital up in South Boston in labor as we speak, about to have their third child. Did I get that right, Matt?
Benny, this afternoon on the grid, I talked to Hermie Sadler, and he looked awful nervous. I said, "What's the matter?" He says, "Right now, I just got a phone call that my wife, Angela, has gone to the hospital in labor with their third child." He said he won't know until the race is over whether little Cora and Haley have a new baby brother or a new baby sister. He's hoping, though, that she holds off until he can get home to be there for the birth. But he's not having a great day on the racetrack, but I'm sure by the time this race is over, he's going to grab his cell phone and feel like a champion.
And I said South Boston, obviously, Emporia, Virginia.
That's right.
Thanks to Marion.
So Hermie Sadler running in 30th place now, a couple of laps down to the race leader. Well, as Matt said, although his racing day won't go that well, it's going to be a great day for Hermie away from the racetrack, and we wish Angie the best with the proceedings. You know, one of the things that Greg Biffle has to look forward to in a couple of weeks is picking up the big check from Anheuser-Busch at the NASCAR Busch Series Awards ceremony. We'll be showing you highlights of that on December 6th on TNT. And earlier today, Anheuser-Busch announced a renewed sponsorship for the NASCAR Busch Series.
What's that? Hornaday's got some damage to the right front.
Yeah, got a lot of damage on the right front. Can you check the wall getting in?
Yeah, there's skid marks leading to that pit wall coming in.
Yeah, look at that.
Well, I've never. And I tell you what, they've got to beat that fender off that tire.
Tires pointed.
Look at the skid marks.
Yeah,
that's guardrail.
Wow.
He was trying to get slowed down for the.
Well, we were talking about that. You got to get in to pit lane quickly. And Hornaday was getting in pretty good.
You know what that looked like? It happened at a point where he went to grab the, downshift to gear, and the back end jumped on him.
Yeah.
Now just make sure that fender doesn't rub that right front and rub a hole in it, because those tires are paper thin.
But he was doing what you have to do. Like I said, if these guys are going to stop under the green here for a splash and go, getting to that first line and getting up to speed is really, really important. Okay, you want to do that without hitting something, of course.
You remember what I said before about the last commercial break under green?
Yeah. No.
I was given bad information.
Why? We got another break?
One right now, as a matter of fact. Let's do it. Come back for the green flag pit stops. Bad producer. Bad producer. .25 laps to go in the Ford 300 at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. New leader. Scott Wimmer in his Pontiac trying to spoil the manufacturer's party. Just took the lead away from Jason Keller in the blue oval car. Boy, is that 23 been flying.
Oh, he is so fast. And the Booty told me he was going to be that fast. And
this was just seconds before we came back from the commercial. Turn 4.
I mean, Jason Keller got in the corner as a little bit, probably actually too deep. Couldn't keep the car on the bottom. But he could, Scott Wimmer. And how many times, look at this, watch this left front. Watch that. Where's the lug nut? Where's the lug nut? There's another lug nut missing. There, he finally picked it up.
Look at Bill Davis there.
Oh, man.
That was with 86 to go. Wimmer was running third at the time. He fell back to 12th.
But on the first pit stops on lap 22, he made 2 pit stops. Restarted the race 32nd and 34th. That's twice he's fought his way through these cars.
Yep. Now, does he have enough gasoline on board to see the checkered flag without stopping?
Good question.
Matt Yoakum told us from pit road a little bit ago they're not planning on stopping. They're going to roll the dice, try and take it to the finish. He can't lose third place in the championship standings. He can't gain second. Nothing to lose.
Go for it.
Yep. Now the question is, can anybody else make it to the finish if Wimmer runs out? Here's Hamilton Jr. rallying back late. led the race early, faded way back into the field after taking no tires on an early caution at lap 22. And now he's back up to 5th place.
And Hamilton's gas man is not here this weekend. He's ill. The first time that he's missed a race since Ed Rincey's had a race team. So next year, hope he makes all of them.
So Hamilton Jr., after starting 3rd, trying to pick his way back toward the front again. Next up in front of him, Michael Waltrip, but he's got about 6 seconds to make up before he would catch the 99 car. Hamilton Jr., one of those guys who's had an up and down season. Looked like May and into June he was just going to be on fire. Had that great run at Richmond, lost out on the win late when the fuel pickup problem. Thank you.
Didn't pick up enough fuel.
Then won the race at New Hampshire on Mother's Day weekend. Just not been consistent enough to contend for the championship. Their average finish this season, 16th. He had climbed as high as 5th in the championship at one point. He started the day today in 10th.
And see, we talked about Bobby Hamilton in Richmond, and that's some of the problems that Scott Wimmer, Jason Keller, some of these guys that may be going for it may have as well. They may have fuel in the tank, but not be able to pick up that fuel. That's what happened to Hamilton Jr. at Richmond.
Back to Scott Wimmer. One of those we can look toward to contend for the NASCAR Busch Series Championship in 2003. Matt?
Yeah.
You're on, Matt.
Well, down in the one pit, Jimmy Spencer, we told you they were not going to be able to make it on fuel. They're going to come down, take on 2 tires, and top them off with fuel. Meanwhile, while the one pits, the 23 team is looking on. Booty Barker, the crew chief, Dwayne Krieger, the car chief, and Bill Davis, the owner. Heavy consultation. They finally told spotter Rocky Ryan, keep us posted who pits and who doesn't. We are very close. We're leaning to possibly having a pit for a splash of fuel. Pins and needles down in the 23 pit, hoping to hold on for another win.
Jason Keller's still right there too.
Well, I think that Wimmer, once he got in front, Wally just backed off.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm gonna try to save all the fuel that I can.
And the 7 car needs about 5 seconds of fuel, so they're going to go ahead and take right side tires while he's here. Just barely getting out of the way as the front tire changer, and Randy LaJoie is gone.
18 laps to go. Wimmer leads. Keller is 2nd. Nemechek is 3rd. Waltrip is 4th. Hamilton Jr. is 5th. Who's got fuel to make it to the checkered flag? Can anybody? Remember Greg Biffle still lurking back there, having made a stop under the green flag because he had a right side tire, right rear tire that was going flat. Biffle pitted at lap 147, and he is good to the checkers on gasoline.
I mean, Wally, do you think that's what Wimmer is doing? Is that what you would do if they told you that you had to conserve fuel? You would get in front of the 2nd place car and just slow down?
I don't think I would know how. I mean, how do you know how much to get off? It'd be real difficult not to run 100%.
Dave?
Shane Meal took on 2 right side tires. He also made a chassis adjustment. They hadn't made adjustments the last 2 times they came in. Gave him fuel to the end. Joe Nemechek getting right side tires. They will fuel him up. When the jack drops, he goes. And he is gone as well.
So that was the 3rd place car there, Nemechek. Now headed back out.
Scott Wimmer caught that traffic a little bit better than Jason Keller that time and put a little distance on him.
Here comes Mikey. Going to give up 3rd place now. Pit road for fuel with 16 laps to go. Dave, here he comes.
Alan, his car had gone just a little bit tight the last time, so they've talked about whether or not they're going to put on right side tires that might free him up just a little bit. They're not going to do that. Just about 3 seconds worth of fuel, and he leaves. Marty?
Bobby Hamilton Jr.'s team had the same debate, Dave. They're going to come down pit road. They, however, will take 2 tires on this stop. Fred Wenke, the crew chief, long debate. They thought they might gamble. They thought they might try to make it all the way because the chassis has been excellent, but they decided just to take 2 tires, not risk it, put the fuel in. They figured they had too much to lose. They are fighting for 10th place in the championship standings. They currently are 10th. They could very easily lose that, so they didn't want to lose that. They didn't want to take a gamble. He's back out on the track.
Now, Michael Ball taking fuel only, Benny. About 4 seconds he made up.
Matt? And Booty Barker just gave the call to Scott Wimmer. Next time, hit pit road for fuel. They're going to top him off. They only need a few seconds. Here he comes down pit road, hoping to hold on because they know the 57 is probably going to pit. The 46 will pit at lap 190. They're hoping that this cycles out, that they're going to be back in the lead. The team up on the wall. Scott Weston, the truck driver, the most important person now as he tries just to get the fuel filler in and just to get enough fuel in, not lose too much time so they do not lose this race. They're motioning him in. Wimmer comes to a stop. Perfect stop. Weston puts it up in there, gets the fuel, and he's gone.
4,300, 4,300. Watch your speed, watch your speed.
The critical thing here, BP, is to watch the 23 and
60.
Greg Biffle.
Where is Biffle?
Where they come up on the racetrack relative to each other.
Okay, Biffle is just going down in turn 1. There he is.
Wimmer's on the inside pit road warm-up lane. And Wimmer's going to get out first.
He is?
Yes.
Wimmer's on the backstretch ahead of Biffle. Biffle was trying hard.
Yes, he was. May have cost him a little bit of time there.
Well, right now he's got the 47 car of Shane Meal that has fresher tires that just changed right sides. He's faster than Greg Biffle.
So now when does Jason Keller stop? And does he? Other lead cars coming in. Jeff Green, Ashton Lewis topping off the fuel, but you see Jason Keller off turn 4. Another lap onto the green. Boy, getting out ahead of the 60 was huge for Wimmer. That might have been the race.
Could have been 13 more laps. This 57 car has to run on the fuel in the tank if he's going to win.
Now roll off, be easy on it.
Yeah.
Are they stretching it?
Be real easy on it.
And now you can, Benny. You know, your question was earlier, can you back off? Well, if you got a 24-second lead, yeah, now you can be a little bit easier on that throttle and try to save fuel. Hard to do it when you've got a guy in your mirror.
Yeah.
Roll off in there easy, roll off easy.
So the game plan has apparently changed for the 57 team now that everybody else is pitted.
But we know that Casey Mears, Hank Parker Jr. can probably make it.
Because they stopped.
They stopped. And they can probably make it because Hank Parker Jr. at Pikes Peak ran 115 laps on that 1-mile racetrack.
And the biggest thing is Biffle's got a lot of traffic to fight through right now.
Hank Parker Jr. stopped at lap 122. But I don't see Casey Mears having stopped since 114.
Well, they told me they could have run 125 miles at Pikes Peak. Talking about those 2 Dodges.
That's your margin. Easy in, easy out.
From Wessel Motorsports, so we'll see.
So Jason Keller continues to try and make it go to the finish. 9 laps to go now here at Homestead. What a season it's been for Jason Keller. Career best 4 victories in this 2002 season. Picked up wins at Rockingham, Talladega, Richmond, and Nazareth. He'll lose out on the championship because he had 1 more race than Greg Biffle that he had a poor finish. What about it, Matt?
Steve Addington down here in the 57 pit. The big money question. Can you go or will you have to come for fuel?
We're here to win this race. We brought this out brand new Albertsons Ford down here this weekend to go for it. I mean, we don't have anything to lose. I just like to thank all the guys back in the fab shop. They built one heck of a race car right here. It's been good all day. And yeah, it's exciting, ain't it?
It certainly is. They're going for that big money deposit slip, Benny.
Oh, he's grinning ear to ear.
Here comes Casey Mears to pit road. 66 car was up to 2nd place. And now he's going to have to stop. It'll put Hank Parker Jr. to 2nd, Scott Wimmer to 3rd, but they're 25 seconds behind Jason Keller.
You can half throttle it. Half throttle, buddy.
I think that was Jason Keller's probably radio.
All right, 66 heads back out. Now we check on the race for second place.
And Wimmer has caught the 36 car of Hank Parker Jr. Marty?
If Jason Keller runs out of gas, BP, and if Scott Wimmer does not pass him, Hank Parker's team thinks they can make it all the way. Their calculations show they are 0.18 laps short. They're going to go for it. They've won it on fuel mileage before.
I don't think they can keep the 23 car behind them. No one else has been able to do it.
Yeah.
And Wimmer knows he's got to get by him. This is his only shot.
Yeah. Wimmer has worked his way back up to third spot. Greg Biffle back up to fourth.
Put me inside Jason Keller's car. You got a 23-second lead, 5 laps to go. You know you need to save a couple laps of fuel. Can you save that much?
Well, yeah, I think you can when you have that kind of a lead, because you can roll off the throttle and be real easy with that throttle. You've got 6 laps to go right now. Yes, he can save some fuel. Will it be enough? I don't know.
That was fourth place that just changed hands. Nemechek by Greg Biffle. And there's that 57 car.
Last lap time, 40 seconds.
Yeah.
That's about 2.5 seconds slower than the rest of the boys.
Next on NBC, the Gravity Games coming up following NASCAR.
But still has a 20-second lead.
Yeah. I love the grin on Steve Addington's face. Isn't this exciting?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. A lot of drama here.
Now Jason's got one eye glued to that fuel pressure gauge on that dash right now.
Because as soon as it starts fluctuating, that means it is picking up air, not fuel.
Wonder if Jason's got his lucky t-shirt on that his children made him.
I would imagine he does. 3.5 laps to go. Still a long, long ways to go for Jason Keller.
Half throttle for me. Half throttle.
I mean, he's only given up a couple. He's given up about 7 seconds of his lead. And he's got 18 still to give. And 3 more laps when he comes back around.
He's hardly breathing right now. He's holding his breath.
And folks, let me tell you that Scott Wimmer has not been able to catch and pass. He's caught Hank Parker Jr., but he has not been able to pass him.
There's the race for second. Going on 18.9 seconds behind leader Jason Keller. Passing Elton Sawyer's car, 37 machine. Running back in 21st place, couple of laps down to the race leader.
Look at that. All 4 tires right underneath that yellow line.
Oh, he's taking a look. Try to get him loose off of 2 here.
Slow car they just went by in the back stretches. Ron Young in the 70 car. He should get back around to the pit lane and not slow this race before its finish. This is Scott Wimmer working on Hank Parker Jr. for second. Might have the run this time. 2 to go.
Oh! And guess what? The 57 car, I thought he had stopped off turn 2. Looked like he was out of gas. Maybe he slowed down that much. All the cars are going. It looked like he's still moving.
Got 1 car out of gas. Mark Green is on the apron heading into turn 1.
He's out of fuel.
Jason Keller's out of gas.
He has to be.
He's out of gas. Coming to the white flag. Matt?
Jason Keller is out of gas. The car is sputtering. All the guys are on the wall. The heartbreak, you can just see it on their faces. Greg Pollock's the owner, dejected behind the pit box. They thought they were going to hold on for another lap and win their first race victory since back in May at Nazareth.
Watch for the 23 car, the orange flames on the hood and fenders. He'll be coming by to the outside. There he is. There's your pass for the win. Scott Wimmer takes the lead on the last lap. We got a car blowing up into turn 1. Jamie McMurray.
Caution is out, guys. Caution is out.
Has lost the engine in the 27 car. The caution flag is out. The fuel stop for Scott Wimmer is going to turn out to pay off. Here he comes to the checkered flag. His 4th win in the last 8 races of this season. Scott Wimmer has taken the Ford 300 at Homestead.
Wow.
I told you there was going to be some drama there.
Amazing. Poor Jason Keller.
Greg Biffle will wrap up his championship season with a 4th place finish. And you know that 23 car is going to be hard to handle when it comes time to settle this championship in 2003.
Oh, it really is.
Well, we know he had nothing to lose, Matt, but this can't be a very pleasant thing for the 57 team. It's got to be great for the 23 guys.
Alan, these guys are all high-fiving, shaking Booty's hand. Booty, Scott Weston only needed a few seconds of gas to get in the car. It was close.
Yeah, we didn't get but 4 gallons in. Dwayne said we're going to run out on the burnout, so either way, it doesn't make any difference. We beat them.
This team has shown so much promise for next year, the way you guys have won races in the last month.
Yeah, I mean, Scott's a great driver, and our team has come together well. I mean, we're doing the best we can, and we're winning races.
Wait till next year. This team, championship contender.
14 to go. There was the stop. Got him the gas to make it to the finish.
See, Booty, I tell you what. And look at Biffle. Oh, that's right. He's the champ.
Yeah. Trophy presentation, the formal trophy presentation to Biffle coming up. So we've got dueling burnouts on the front stretch. Wimmer's somewhere back in that cloud of smoke. Matt?
And Alan, would you believe it? It is starting to rain.
Oh, really?
Man.
There's Wimmer's car through the cloud of smoke. And I think he's out of gas. I think Wimmer's out of gas. Just like Booty Barker said. He'd run out of gas during the burnout. That's great. Race winner, series champion on the front stretch here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Post-race coverage coming up. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Back with you at Homestead, where the race is now complete. 200 laps completed, but on or about lap 198, Jason Keller noticed his fuel gauge starting to show signs of giving up. Jason, tell us about your decision to stay out and not to come in and top off.
Well, we came to Homestead to win the race, and we were close. On long runs, the 23 car was better than we were. We were a little bit better on short runs, but we didn't come here to run second. We told everybody that this week, and we proved it. It just fell a lap short. You know, I came and took the white flag, but we couldn't get the win of championship, and we couldn't finish third, so we had nothing to lose. And it's proud of the entire Albertsons team. It's a brand new car, and I'd like to say hi to Deb and the kids back home. You know, we had nothing to lose, so we gambled.
After chasing for the championship for so long and not getting it, you really wanted to come away with a win, didn't you?
We did. I wanted to be on the front straightaway today with Greg Biffle celebrating a win, but it didn't work, and now it's raining, so it could have rained 10 minutes ago, but we just need to fight hard going into next year and do our best.
All right, let's go up to Barney Snyder.
26-year-old Wisconsin native Scott Wimmer in victory lane again for the 4th time in 8 races. He came to Bill Davis Racing as a hot shoe from the ASA Series, and he has been so impressive here in the second half of the 2002 season. Awesome is the only way to describe how Scott Wimmer has been in the last few weeks. Wow, if you could capsulize this second half of the season, Scott, and run it every year, I think you'd be in good shape.
Yeah, what an awesome end of the year. I got to thank Bill Davis Racing. You know, we don't have a sponsor, but we got a lot of people that help this team out. Winnebago, Gold Eyewear, Simpson Race Products, Remington, Naturally Fresh Water. Everybody helps us out a bunch, but I'm real proud of these guys. Thank the Lord for a good, safe day. Keeping the rain off us, too.
An up and down day on pit road for your guys. One time they put you back in the field, but they did it when it counted, got you on the track with the right amount of fuel.
Yeah, that last pit stop we just had a lug nut hang or something like that, but you know, these guys, they rip them off every week, and I'm real proud to be with this team, and just thankful we got the gas in there when we needed it. It was close.
Still a championship coming on?
Oh, hopefully. You know, we're going to try for it. Bill Davis is quite a car owner. I'd sure love to give him a championship.
There you go. For the 4th time in 8 races, Scott Wimmer in victory lane.
Here's how they ran today in the Ford 300 at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. They put some gasoline in Greg Biffle's car, and he's coming back around for the Champions presentation, which you'll see in just a few moments. Scott Wimmer, 4th win in the last 8 races.
Biffle came back my flat tire for 4th. Randy LaJoy finished in 6th.
And Jason Keller wound up 15th.
Shane Meal, first car a lap down. The Sauter boys, 18th and 19th.
Mike McLaughlin ends his run with Joe Gibbs in 20th place.
And there's a name you'll hear some more in the future. Martin Truex Jr., 23rd.
Steve Grissom, 31st today, former series champion. A lot of drivers failed to finish. 10 cars not running at the checkered flag, including Todd Bodine and David Green. Involved in an accident, though they retired for separate reasons. Green as a result of the wreck, and Bodine as a result of engine problems. Championship standings, none of the top 7 positions changed hands on the final day. The gap ends up at 264 between Biffle and Jason Keller at season's end. When we come back, the official trophy presentation to NASCAR Busch Series champion Greg Biffle. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. They've brought the stage out to the start-finish line here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, where the official championship presentation is about to be made to Greg Biffle and the Roush Racing Team for their crown in 2002. Let's go to Bill Weber on the stage.
Well, thank you very much, Alan Bestwick, here on the stage just across the start-finish line with the 2002 Busch Series champion Greg Biffle. And to begin the presentation, let's start with NASCAR President Mike Helton. Mike.
Greg, on behalf of everybody at NASCAR, congratulations. You're going to be a great Busch champion. We're proud of you. And you did it in style, and we look forward to your reign next year.
Thank you. Thank you. It's always, like always, it's a pleasure racing NASCAR Busch Series. Looking forward to racing Winston Cup next year. It's been a fantastic season for all of us. Just wish, I thought maybe there for a while we'd be in Victory Lane here celebrating the Busch Championship, but got a flat tire there. But the guys did a wonderful job today, wonderful job all season. And I just want to thank everybody that's made it possible.
And now the official presentation of the trophy from Anheuser-Busch, the director of Busch Marketing.
Greg, on behalf of Busch Beer, I'd like to congratulate you, Jack, Randy, and the entire number 60 Granger Race team for winning the 2002 Busch Championship. Congratulations.
Well, you never look better. Danny Scott, the director of Busch Beer, we need a towel. Hey, congratulations. It's a tremendous road you traveled to get here, Greg. I know this moment means a lot to you.
Yeah, it really does. You know, I wish that my parents could be here, mom and dad and brother. I got some nieces, but they were at Phoenix last week when we clinched the title, but this is really exciting. I was hoping Danny wasn't going to hand me this trophy because it weighs a whole bunch. I was hoping he was going to hold on to it, but just an excellent year altogether. I got to thank Benny Parsons and a lot of people that's made this possible, and Jack Roush. Roush Racing Organization has been good to me, and I look forward next year to all the things that are going to happen. I went and had dinner with all my guys last night, and they steered me in the right direction in this Busch car for today for rear springs and some other things, and just gave me some advice, and it certainly helped me. It's too bad we got a flat tire, but we're excited, top 5 finish.
Congratulations very much. Greg Biffle, the 2002 champion of the NASCAR Busch Series. Back upstairs to Alan.
A season that started 10 months ago in Daytona Beach, Florida, wound through 6,546 laps of racing at 25 different tracks. At the end, Greg Biffle and the Roush Racing Team are the best. They are the NASCAR Busch Series champions for 2002. Tomorrow, noon Eastern on NBC, the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship will be decided between Tony Stewart and Mark Martin. Noon Eastern, NBC tomorrow. Up next, the 2002 Gravity Games presented by Dodge. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.